Whoa, what's going on here?
What's going on here?
All right, I'll sing.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm singing.
Wait, mic's not muted. Give me a second. Damn, I'm gonna have to sort this out. Okay. Shit. Don't know what happened there. That's our new fucking intro. No music is playing. What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know.
I checked it out there. It was playing.
It's part of your recent copyright strike. Oh, is there wrong think in the song? And then maybe like England blocked it for some reason or something like that?
It's public domain music from YouTube. That should have worked unless the YouTube downloader just had a glitched and downloaded the fucking footage without the sound. I've had that happen a couple of times as well, so that could be the case. So I might have to try and do it again. Who knows?
All right.
So, yeah. Either way, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome to my so-called show, you beautiful bastards. Tonight we are discussing the Coen Brothers' very violent 2007 neo-western No Country for Old Men, and I am joined by my regular panelists. Inside Man, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? I'm quite warm at the moment. It's the temperature's starting to soar a little bit now.
Yeah, it was a little bit chilly yesterday, and it's starting to get a bit warmer here as well. And Fandad Menace, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
And Critical, nice to see you with the Predator. No, it's a tarantula, sorry.
Yeah, that's it. It's my spider mask.
Predantula.
Yeah, and I'm also featuring my always welcome Lord of Toxicity.
What's up? The septic is in the house to lend a little Americanism to this fucking limey brigade. What up, guys?
I was hoping for the American representation for this film, to be honest. I was like, fuck, this is just four Brits getting to...
Yeah, we've got four Brits there talking about probably one of the most American movies as well. It's
Hell yeah.
But before going to it, yes.
As an American, are you claiming that haircut?
Yes, that's badass.
He's already got one.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, well, before I get into the movie, I need to explain why I've changed the streams, because before Critical, Fandad and Inside Man were like regular guests, but now since they contribute a lot to the streams anyway, I may as well make them regular panelists on my show and have the odd guest. And Lord Toxic is always welcome. So the new streams are going to be from now on called the League of the Retro Spider-Menace Bastards. So yeah, which sounds right.
Yeah, it slips right off the tongue.
I was going to call it the Retropolyptic Spider-Menace Bastards, but I thought, nah, shorten it down a bit, make it a bit easier.
I wish Enzo was here. He would have just said that he was in a band called that, and he played for them in Austin, Texas.
I'd buy that. I'd buy him being in a band like that. But yeah, No Country for Old Men. It's such a slow burn of a film, yet it's still so fucking engaging and gripping, and never feels boring. I don't know, when was the first time you saw this, Retropolis?
Well, I did actually see this at the cinema back in the day, and to be honest, I hadn't seen anything of it. I'd seen no trailers, and I thought, I've heard of the book. I hadn't read the book at that time, but yeah, it's a Coen Brothers movie, so. And I walked out of the cinema just, my jaw just never, wasn't out of the drop position, to be honest. I thought it was amazing, just amazing. And that's the thing that forced me to go and get the book as well. So I read the book afterwards and was equally as impressed by the book.
Yeah, it does seem to gather a bit more information in the aftermath of the end in the book, and you do get more insight into Bella as well. Each chapter sort of starts with Belle making this monologue about how things are getting worse, and he's looking on in things that maybe at a rose-tinted glasses, maybe. But Toxic is a big avid fan of the book. Yeah, you did a thesis on it back in 2005, if I remember correctly. Did you?
It was 2014 or 15 when I finished. I got my associate's degree in literature, and I would say thesis. That's not really right. More like my final term paper was on the book, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us, Nix and Tony K. Big fucking really appreciate it. I really do. And yeah, the book is not too far from the film. There's a few little differences, but it's still got that same very dark, creepy atmosphere when you read it.
Mm.
And I don't think I remember Anton Chigurh actually being described in the book the way he is in the movie, but I think it just I think it just gives him more of a presence as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Fandad Menace, you said this is your favourite film as well. I mean, when was the first time you saw this?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was just flicking through Netflix and it sounded good few years back. But I've seen it a good few times and still don't fully understand the movie, if that makes sense. I could watch it another 20 times and still pick things up from it.
Oh yeah, it's very vague. It is very vague as
yeah.
well, especially when it comes to Anton Chigurh's motives and why he is doing what he's doing. And yeah, Critical, when was the first time you saw this movie?
About 10 years ago, I think. I know for a fact that I saw the scene in the gas station before I watched the film. So that scene was just coming up as a classic scene.
To watch this film in a gas station.
You know, and that is an absolute masterpiece of creating suspense, you know, by the Coen Brothers. But yeah, about 10 years ago, and I was blown away. It's not a conventional film. It's a film of themes. As you say, it's quite a slow burner, but it's got quite a few themes running through it, and it's an intelligent film, despite, you know, all the violence in it. And the violence in it is very... It's very strange. It's very almost low key, because obviously the character of Anton is just a mindless machine killing people, and it never really feels like there's this passion behind the killing. But yeah, no, it's amazing.
I never thought he was mindless. He just seems like he has this
merciless.
Very dark, he has this very dark philosophical view on killing, and like he feels he may have to do it. Like it may. It may leave the natural order unbalanced if he doesn't. You know, like killing's a natural way of life. It's
yeah. He doesn't put any passion into his killing. He's just
he doesn't seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly that.
He's
exactly that. He's a discompassionate, you know, detached killer. You know, that just happens to be his job. But
and I know for a fact that the Coen Brothers were worried about him turning out a little bit like the Terminator. And they wanted to try and avoid that, because obviously that's you know the most direct contrast that you could make, and Javier Bardem was quite, you know, sort of instrumental in that approach. So yeah,
and he does have a weird kind of anti-hero quality as well, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very strange character, very interesting. I'm glad he got the Oscar. I really am, because it's
he fucking nails it. Javier Bardem, he is so fucking good in this. He really is. And he's quite a big guy as well, and yet you need someone like of his stature to play this role, because he has this presence where you just look at him and you know this guy isn't fucking about.
He's just a menace, isn't he?
There was a study. Yeah. There was a study conducted, and apparently he is the world's most accurate portrayal of a psychopath on film.
I believe that. I fucking believe that as well. And he believes he actually believes his own bullshit as well.
Yeah, he's got a code. He's got a system that he works by, almost like a program, which is why I described him almost as like a mindless machine, because he is essentially operating by, no, the program's operated by fate and things like coin tosses and like that kind of thing. But he is almost working to a script, to a program. It's just that particular, whether or not they live or die, you know, hinges on a coin toss for the most part. So, yes, it's a fascinating character. And like Fandad, I could watch this film. I've probably seen it about three times, I think, in total, and I could probably watch it again and again and just keep getting bits out of it. But it's a film of themes rather than an overall plot per se, I think.
You know, it's kind of like he's also like he's not just a man; he's like a symbol of darker and much more harsher and violent things to come, isn't he? Because
he's death personified, and it's something that Tommy Lee Jones's character Bell can't handle.
Yeah, because he feels he's outmatched.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to come across even worse if he carries on in this line of job.
Yeah, the way to describe Anton, is it Chigurh? I think it's Chigurh.
Chigurh, yeah, or Sugar. He still gets called Sugar.
Is a force of nature.
Yeah, that is definitely him. He is a force of nature. He's very smart. He's very cunning. He's ruthless, and he's fucking hell. He's incorruptible as well. That's the thing about him. He's not about the money. He's about the principle of what he's doing, and the principle that makes sense mostly
to
to
buy
him.
him off, and he's just like, no, I'm not having any of it. I've got a job. I've got paid to do that job. I'm doing that job. So yeah, he's got like a lot of good killers and stuff. He's got a code. He's got a system.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we'll jump right into the movie. Yeah, we will jump into the movie as well, because there was a lot we need to get through, and even if we did went on for hours, I don't think we would still scratch the surface because it's so vague but so complex at the same time.
Yeah. There's a lot to dissect, but you like to get down to the pub by 10:30, so.
Yeah, it's mostly just us theorizing a little bit on this as well, and but what I love at the start is that it sets the tone straight away. Like it's got a nice little sunrise coming, but it's also dark as well, which hints that this is going to be a very dark film, despite all the sunny settings that you're going to be surrounded by.
Morgan Freeman gets a lot of credit for being one of the best narrators, but I submit to you that Tommy Lee Jones is a great narrator.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the minute he fucking starts narrating about when he's talking about the old guys and how they would have handled things back in the day, and you tell us as a guy who's seen it all, and it's really starting to weigh on him already.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when he talks about this other psychopath that killed a 14-year-old girl, and he was saying that no, if they released me, I was just going to do it again, and I know I'm going to hell, and I'll be there in 15 minutes, and I think that's where it is the starting point of where the job is starting to get to him, but he's still plodding along, and right up until this crimes happens, and
Can
he
we
knows
just
he's outmatched.
Can we give a shout out to Roger Deakins for an absolute
cinematography is incredible, isn't it?
Fucking hell, yeah.
He got nominated for an Oscar for that as well, but he didn't win.
Oh yeah, it's almost like I mean,
this is as good as any
when he does the stunning when he does the scenery as well, but it's got a bit more of a dark.
Yeah, exactly that. I was going to say exactly that. It's like this is as good as any Sergio Leone movie, and as good as any David Lean movie.
Yeah, because it takes its time as well, doesn't it? Just lets you just soak up the atmosphere, the unnerving atmosphere for.
It gets described as a neo-western.
Yeah, that's why I always thought of it as a neo-western.
John Ford would be proud.
Oh yeah. This is like John Ford on fucking psycho pills. This is. And then this is where we're wondering why is this guy arrested? Why has he got this fucking air tank with him? It's very strange.
Yeah.
And then and this poor cop he's just as puzzled as ever, and he's like, don't worry, we'll find out. I got everything under control. And then Anton Chigurh just grabs him, and it is brutal. It is visceral. I mean,
it's a horrible scene to watch. This
I know.
Disturbed me. I think the first time I saw this, it was disturbing to see.
Oh yeah. I mean, this took me by surprise because we've always seen people getting choked by chains and then they suffocate and die, but he really tears through the neck. I mean, blood fucking starts pumping out, which would happen. It would tear right through the arteries, everything.
Guys,
I love the
visceral. One of the things I love about this film. Oh, sorry, Toxic, go.
No, it's okay. I love the little detail, and it's something that my ex-wife pointed out to me because she really enjoyed this movie as well. When the camera pulls out, you can see all the two men's boots have scraped the floor, scuffed up the floor rather. I thought that was a really cool addition there.
It is. It's
horrible. Like he's in pain doing it as well because the cuffs are obviously cutting through his hand as well, and he's just sort of like, because he's a psychopath, he kind of powers through it.
Yeah.
Probably gives him a rush. The pain will probably give him an extra adrenaline rush anyway. Maybe
there's so little score in this film that the Foley work and everything has to do a big job in creating the atmosphere. And
just let the atmosphere
well, like the background noises and everything, because quite a lot of this film is silent, and it's still really unnerving and oppressive. Unlike something like In a Violent Nature, which has got no score and it's just boring as fuck.
What does that word mean? Foley work? What does that mean?
It's when you make sounds to go over the.
Yeah,
I will
it
let
was
him
actually
say, man, he'll know.
yeah, sorry, it was created by a guy called, or it's named after a guy called Jack Foley.
Mhm.
So with the advent of sound, actually recording sound on the set was quite problematic because the
Mhm.
cameras were extraordinarily loud. If you've ever been on a set with a 35 or 16 mil camera, they're
Hmm.
very, very, very loud.
Okay.
And the microphones, in the early days of film, just weren't that good.
Hmm.
So you had to have, everything was padded and covered in order to, quash as much sound as you possibly could. So they came up with this post-production idea of creating individual sound effects that they can just drop in at will. And there are artists that now specialize in Foley. So if you see the term Foley artist in the credits of a movie,
Which I
those are
have.
the people that, those are the people that create all of the sound effects. In as much as, say the punches, they'll create the footsteps,
Hmm.
the crackle of a fire, the stabbing noises,
Sounds of armor and things like that.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, everything.
Oh.
And they use some very, very, very smart, very clever, and very unusual techniques to
Very
replicate some of these
imaginative.
sounds.
Yes, really,
They
really
are,
weird stuff.
and
Yeah.
and what's really clever about it is that they, with the work that Foley artists do now, this we have a kind of a hyper intensity with the sound. Now, I recently actually did something with Foley, which I won't go into at the moment, but it's an incredible thing to watch Foley artists at work. Very, very, very quite mind blowing,
Yeah.
to see how they replicate these different sounds. I mean, say I'll give you one, right? One really imaginative way. So if you see a fire crackling, um, if you see a fire crackling in a fireplace or something, or the people are sitting around a campfire,
Okay.
how they replicate that crackle is they get a crisp packet or potato chip packet, they crumple it up,
No
and they just wait
shit.
for it to
Yep.
unfold. And they wait for it to unfold itself.
Wow.
There are some
And
mad,
that's
mad
that
Foleys. It's worth looking into. It
that's
really is. It's it's,
yeah.
it's it's like the old days, like when production companies couldn't afford something, so they had to find a workaround. It's like that,
Mm,
basically. That's what Foley
mm.
work
Yeah,
is,
I think
and it's
Sergio
really
Leone
important.
had the same problem as well when he was doing his spaghetti westerns. I remember watching some
Yeah.
featurettes on that, and
Hmm.
yeah, somehow you can. I think it does add something. I can't really articulate what it is, but yeah, adding the sounds in later does kind of give it something. But
Good Foley work can make or break a film, in my opinion.
Mm.
There's some
I
films
agree.
where the Foley work adds a character to the film.
Mm.
And I think it's underappreciated, to be honest, because a lot of people probably don't. I mean, obviously, Dustin wasn't sure what Foley was, but I kind of feel like Stuntman, it kind of needs a little bit more exposure. Because I remember watching
Yeah.
a behind the scenes of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and
Mm.
they had a segment of the behind the scenes sort of featurettes that was all done on the Foley work, and
Mm.
it was just incredible
Oh,
watching
right.
him come up with all these sounds to replicate, as you
Yeah.
say, the marching, the armor, the sword fights, all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool.
Cool. Well,
fucking nice
this
one.
is why I like streaming with people smarter than me, because then I get to learn shit.
Likewise. But this beginning also does sort of set the tone as well. It introduces you to Anton Chigurh and what kind of a person he is, because then he stops this guy he's just fucking minding his own business. He's stolen the police car, and he never questions that this guy is out of a police car with no police uniform on or showing a badge or anything, though. But he complies like always. Yeah. And I don't know if Javier Bardem had a bit of makeup on him to look a bit paler and a bit more, a little bit more gaunt as well, because yeah, he definitely looks like a guy who hasn't interacted with people or socialized or anything. And then we see what this air tank is all about, because then this guy
How
just,
iconic is that weapon?
yeah,
Mm.
Captive bolt pistol, and the Foley for that was a pneumatic nail gun.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, the things they use as well to make sounds. I think is it like with Evil Dead where Ash's sister stabs his girlfriend in the ankle, but the sound they used was when they put a pencil into an apple and then just started
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, a bit like that.
There's loads of it. it really is an art form. I'd love to see some more stuff on it. Actually, I might have to do a video on Foley. That'd be cool.
I
Yeah.
think one of the most
yeah.
one of
It
my
does sound-
favourite bits of Foley is that whenever they, there's loads of blood and guts and gore and everything. Believe it or not, big bowls of pasta are very, very good for getting those kinds of sounds, those
Yeah,
kind of
get
really
squelch.
gory sounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they use like pasta on a fucking dog in Toxic Avenger, didn't they? When those psychos kill the dog and he's just lying there sleeping with less spaghetti on him. It's like, but this is where we're introduced to Desmond, isn't it? Played by Josh
Moss, isn't it?
Llewellyn Moss.
Llewellyn Moss. Yeah. Who the fuck is Desmond anyway?
I was going to say Desmond doesn't sound like him.
I know. It just came to
That's
me.
okay. That's okay.
I got the author's name wrong as well. It was Cormac McAfee, wasn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, and I got it wrong saying Caffey McCormick for some fucking reason. It was just weird on
That's all right. I just figured you had too much peanut butter in your mouth or something.
I think Desmond was in the sequel.
It is very warm here in the UK. We're not used to it. He's probably got heat stroke.
Yeah.
I think you're probably thinking of Desmond Llewellyn.
Oh my word! Now that would be
Q. That's it.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Q. Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah, Llewellyn. But this is where, and he's played by Josh Brolin, and I think this might be the film that made him get a bit more attention again, because he was in a lot of films after the Goonies, but
and the Coen Brothers didn't want him.
Notice of him again.
The Coen Brothers didn't want him. It took Tarantino and somebody else, can't remember, to convince the Coen Brothers to audition Josh.
Damn.
So
it was Robert Rodriguez.
Who did they
it was.
originally
There you go,
know?
Rodriguez.
Grindhouse,
Rodriguez
wasn't he?
Tarantino. Yeah.
Josh Brolin was shooting Grindhouse, and he made his audition tape on.
Right. I remember. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a big Josh Brolin fan for a long time. He was in a TV after the Goonies. He did a couple things in a skateboard movie, and then he did a TV show that was sort of called The Young Riders, sort of a takeoff of Young Guns on. And he played Wild Bill Hickok, a young version of him, and I really liked him in that.
Right.
He's a class actor.
Oh,
Again,
yeah. They're all just
maybe
fucking
he's just
awesome.
quite got the right roles over the years, but yeah, I think he's an amazing actor.
Oh, yeah, and he sells it real well as this like cowboy and a hunter, and he's obviously already straight away this guy is knows what he's doing. He's very smart, and with the way it comes across the
But that's one of the themes in this film is the theme between hunter and prey, because every character in this film is both at some stage.
And I love how this little cloud comes over as well. It's almost like hinting if you pursue this path, another shitstorm's going to come after you. It's almost like it's hinting dark things are about to follow if he continues down this path here.
I never caught that. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, no, it's like there's always like little hints as well, because I think another storm comes later when he's examining when he's looking around the corpses of the drug dealers that have all have obliterated themselves, and the fact that he was hunting these antelope like a sniper as well. Obviously, hints he was in a fucking soldier of Vietnam, probably something like that, and which he reveals later. But he gets the wind trajectory off, and he misses the antelope, so he tries to find. Then he notices like there's some blood on the floor, and he notices a wounded dog, and he's like, "What the fuck is happening here?" And I just like the fact that he takes his time as well. He's very patient. He observes as well. He observes his surroundings, and God, that is a really smart character without saying any fucking dialogue whatsoever. You know this guy knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, show don't tell. I love it.
And again, it builds up a lot of tension as well. Rather than trying to rush it or anything like that, you're constantly like, "What's going on? What's going on?" When he finds this scene, you're like, "Oh Christ," it's very well done. And again, the film, I remember the scene. The fuck?
I forgot to delete them.
From what I remember, the film.
I'll save them for my Batman streams. The Michael Keaton weird face thing there.
Was that not you dressed up? Is that what you and your missus get up there?
I will not divulge in such information.
How dare you, sir?
How dare you?
You say that
Yeah, I
shotgun
like the fact that it
that
doesn't-
Josh is holding is a Remington 700.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
No, the rifle was a Remington.
Oh, the rifle. Okay.
Mm.
Because I know the shotgun that's used later is a suppressed Remington.
Yes, but not real. Not a
But
real.
then
No,
Yeah.
was it invented in 1987 and this
Well-
is set in 1980, or do you mean in general you can't suppress a shotgun like that?
You can suppress a shotgun. You cannot. Well, do you want to hit? You want to take this one, Neb? Because I hit you up before the stream.
Yeah, sure. It's like it's real, but the one using the gun was not real
it was
because
invented,
it doesn't
wasn't
look
it?
like it fits properly either.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Because that, I mean, that weapon is one of the most terrifying weapons I have ever seen in any film.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea, you've got something with that power that's silent, like fucking hell.
And it makes it's that sound as well. It makes where it goes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Hollywood, guys. It's not real.
Yeah, it's one of the few things I thought was a little bit unrealistic, especially when you got this very dark movie that feels very grounded.
Yeah, no, that's I'm kind of almost relieved to know this. It's not real because it is terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
And it's obviously his guys have been there for quite a while as well. And he doesn't flinch as well, so he's seen dead bodies a lot of times before. He's
Good observation. Good observation.
yeah, so he knows bad shit has gone down. And there's this guy who's wounded, is asking for water, and he's definitely on the way out, no matter what happens.
Mm.
And he's but he's a little bit cold about it as well. He's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do for you, mate. Nothing I can do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know,
he's saying in Spanish, he's saying, please, I needs water and look out for the wolves. And he's telling them there's no wolves out there. You're in shock.
there ain't no lobos either. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and he discovers that there's drugs as well, so he knows there could be one guy out. He's checking in. He thinks the best way to do is come out the way he came.
Yep.
He even shot the dog as well. How nice of him.
Yeah.
Shit. But I like how he's careful as well. He's not just heading straight in as well. He's looking out, hoping someone doesn't shoot him, that the guy doesn't shoot back at him, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the other cool thing about this film is like this guy is not a hero.
No, he's just a normal guy who's kind of giving into his greed a little bit, though. And it's very understandable. You don't hate him. You just
human.
yeah.
Very human.
But I like the.
there's an
I
opportunity.
think. Yeah,
Sorry,
I think I like the way you. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I just like the fact that you know from all of these sequences that there is a tactical awareness about this guy, that he, as you say, that he's seen these things before. This is probably nothing compared to the things that he has seen and that he's been involved with. And there is the slowness and everything really does demonstrate, the pacing really demonstrates that he does have this sixth sense, if you like, this tactical awareness of all of his surroundings. I mean, and he knows this land as well. He knows this country.
Yeah, he comes across as very savvy, doesn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, he's kind of like an old school cowboy, isn't he? Because those guys would know the land like the palm of the palm in their hands, wouldn't they? Like the lands in their hands.
Yeah.
And he's done this before, and he's probably has been done he's done a lot of hunting with his dad as a kid. I'm guessing that's the case as well before he was even in the army. And so he's coming to the only logical conclusion he can. If this guy has survived the drug deal, he probably has seeked refuge in the shade, away from the blistering heat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's checking to see if this guy is dead or wounded, and it's looking like the guy is dead because he has not shot back at him or signaled him or anything. And he's tried to pick up the gun, keep it, because you never know, fucking hell. And now he's found the case, and this is where the plot really starts to kick off. Now he's found the 2 million, and you can tell he's not getting excited that he's seen $2 million. First thing he's doing, he's looking all around, isn't he, and keeping his cool.
There's a great line from the book that I love, and it describes this moment perfectly. And this is one of the things you can do with a book you can't do with the film. Moss thinks to himself, looks at the money, figures out the situation, sees the guy with his expensive crocodile boots with blood seeping into them, and thinks to himself, this is the end of my life. I can see all the way to my end of my days while looking at this money, because he knows that picking up this money is basically a death sentence.
But he's taking a chance as well, because it would mean a a life of leisure for him and his wife, and yeah, that's not going to go down well because there is still that greedy side of us that think there's going to be consequences, but who knows? Maybe I could make it out. There's that little.
It's the choice, isn't it? You're looking at a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not you get
And
out to.
And also, it's that, you know, if no one can see me doing this, then maybe I can possibly get away with it.
Yeah.
Which
Once
is
again,
what happens next is so weird and stupid.
Yeah, and I like how as soon as he gets to the truck with the money, the clouds, there's clouds all over. Now there's no bright blue skies. It's a storm. That means he's in it now. He's definitely in it.
I have seen this movie dozens of times. I've read the book and I never picked that up. Luke, that's really good, man. Thank you.
I don't think you can get that in the book. I mean, I think that's one of the few things where the movies has its strength.
Is superior. Yeah, I agree. I would never pick that up. Yeah.
The visual medium.
So did you read the book first?
Did I?
Yes.
No, sir, I did not. Actually, I did. I pulled one of the time-honored traditions of watching a film and then sneaking into another film on a lazy afternoon one day. This was the one that I snuck into after I had seen Michael Clayton, and I walked into this not really knowing what was up, and then I immediately went out to Barnes and Noble and bought the book.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, the book is really good. And like I said,
this is meant to be a really close adaptation. So I was just wondering if it lived up to what the book was in your head, kind of. You know when you read a book and you get a vision. Like for me, for example, I read Game of Thrones a long time before the TV series, like back in 98, 99. And I always had a picture in my head of what Game of Thrones characters and what the world would be. And then I watched the TV series and I was just like, oh, some of it was what I expected and some of it wasn't. So I just wondered if you had a preconceived notion from the book. But if you read the book afterward, then that's going to be skewed.
Yeah, but not there. I mean, we can get more into it later if you want. But I mean, Cormac McCarthy has if I had read the book first and you had asked me, I would have said it's unfilmable. Yeah. So he has a writing style when he writes, and I encourage everybody, if you get a chance, read the book. He has a style. He doesn't use punctuation and like quotation marks to show you. You just have to kind of figure it out of who's talking about what and when. He doesn't say like Llewellyn Moss said to the Mexican man, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't do that. You have to just kind of figure out who's talking and who's saying what. He doesn't use any of that narrative descriptors. Also, he'll have characters speak another language like Spanish, which he does a lot, and he won't translate it. You have to just kind of figure it out.
Yeah, because I've always listened to the audiobook. I've not actually sat down and read the actual book itself. So yeah, I think in the audiobook when he's saying it, you end up, it makes more sense anyway when you're getting it straight away. So, but like I said, it's a pretty good adaptation. It's not too far from the book. There's only really a slight few changes.
Very slight.
Yeah, I've heard there's just a few changes. Like
isn't there
the
a
very
lot
end
of
is
dialogue?
different. With the coin toss at the very end because she refuses the coin toss.
Yeah, you do get a bit more into that, but the movie smartly leaves it out and lets you come to your own conclusion that he's fucking killed her.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
Speaking of and this is his wife, played by the very lovely Kelly MacDonald, who for a long time I did not realise it was the underage lass from Trainspotting who Ian McGregor accidentally shagged. She's yes. Yeah, she really
she's
loves
from Peaky Blinders, right? Isn't she from Peaky Blinders?
She's in loads. She's in Broadwalk Empire and all. She's right. Boardwalk Empire. Yeah, she's Scottish as fucking real life.
I know. When I saw her in the behind the scenes interview, I was like, "What?" It's like listening to you do your American accent. I'm like, and then like if you would always talk like that, and I didn't know, and then later met you and you talked in the mush mouth accent that you have now. I was like shocked. I thought she was doing like a magic trick. I was like, "What is she? Why is she talking like that? I don't get it." And then it was like, "Oh, she's Scottish. Good for her." I think her accent here is flawless.
Yeah, she does real well. She's got that good sass about her as well here with
It's like what was it I watched recently? The Bike Riders. Fucking Jodie, what's her name?
Yeah, she's Scouse. She's like fucking Scouse, man.
Yeah, is it? And there's no way she's not.
Is she a Scouser? Is she a Scouser?
Yeah, she's scouse as hell there.
Yeah,
She was learning to speak Geordie up here. So for 28 years later, because they're shooting it up this end.
Well, she was in bloody what's it called?
Killing Eve.
Killing Eve.
Yeah,
she was doing an accent.
I realize that's not that writer and producer is not the most popular chick these days. I get it, but Killing Eve is an amazing show, and Jodie Comer really gets to show her shit off. Like she does, like a dozen accents, and I think they're all flawless.
Yeah, I was super. I mean, I knew that one wasn't real, but when I saw her in the Bike Riders, I was like, fucking hell, that's just. I don't know if it just comes naturally to her, or if she just studies it for ages. But yeah, flawless, man.
I mean, she's kind of the Meryl Streep of our time as far as accents and the way that.
She'd probably have a coach as well, but
she comes across a bit more likable than Meryl Streep as well at the moment. I've not seen her get up her own ass recently, but yeah.
Yeah, well, give it time, my friend.
Yeah, give it time. I mean, Brie Larson was pretty likable for a while, and she's.
So this is a little. I will tell you guys, this is a little sketchy in the book because he met her after coming home from Nam, and he was well into his 30s, and she's like 15 when he meets her, and she's working at Kmart or Walmart or whatever.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, he just kind of picks her up and is like, rizzes her up, as the kids would say, and so yeah, and she's only supposed to be 18 here, so
he is the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Is it even mentioned that she's 18 in the movie? Because
I don't. I think they were smart enough to kind of leave that alone.
Yeah, I don't think.
Plus, I think she was in her 20s when she did Trainspotting back in 1996. So I'm guessing she was in her 30s here in real life.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But she has a kind of younger looking face. But yeah, in the book, it's one of those things that Bell questions. He's like, why is this guy married to this little? Because when he first meets her, he's like, man, she's just a child. So.
Yeah. But it does,
she's a very sweet character, I think. A very sweet character. Very lovable.
She's not. She doesn't seem like a doormat either. She's got a bit of sass to her, and she kind of gives him a little bit of a ribbon as well, and he gives her a ribbon back, and you can really see these. Yeah, they're a good couple as well. You know, they
get each other, don't they? They really do get each other.
Yeah.
Kelly McDonald's 48.
48. Fuck me, man.
Damn, she's older than me. Shit. Damn.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and obviously he doesn't tell her what is going on at the moment. I mean, he tells her the truth that he's brought in a shitload of money, and she just thinks he's having a joke. And
I really like their relationship. Actually, I really like the way that it's played.
I like the little interaction. And once again, you'd think it was a Coen Brothers bit of dialogue, but it's very accurate to the book as well. It's like
very accurate. The only thing they left out, the only thing they leave out of the book is the fact that she's a heavy smoker, and he had promised her to get cigarettes for her on the way home, and she's like, "Do you not get my cigarettes, Llewellyn?" And he kind of plays with her a little bit, and then actually does have them, and that's the thing. So yeah,
the scene also shows that Moss is also a good guy as well, because he can't sleep. He's thinking about that guy he left to die, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna, and he's doing a stupid thing because that guy is obviously dead, but he's
so stupid.
And then we're talking about fate. This is tempting fate. Yeah. This is massively tempting fate.
Oh my god, it's so dumb.
You probably would have been okay if this hadn't happened.
No.
Well,
He still would have been in trouble. He would have been in trouble, not as quickly.
You reckon they would have found him?
I know they would have.
Yeah, because there's a tracker in the suitcase. I think.
Of course there is. Yes, there is.
Not look for the tracker in his trailer, then chuck it out somewhere else.
Well, not only that, they're in a small town. Okay, this fracas happened outside of a small town. They sent cartel guys, and then they sent the company that Sugar works for in there. Everybody asking questions. I mean, listen, there's a quote from Way of the Gun where the main bagman says something to the effect of, he's like, that amount of money isn't money anymore. It's a what is it? What does he say? He goes, it's a
cash, something like that.
No, he goes, once you get past the millions, it's no longer considered money. It's called like an MO with a universal adapter. It's like, like anybody would do anything. And I think I've said this on other streams, like, until you see a satchel of money with like 50, 100, $500,000 in it, you don't really, you can have all the morals you want to, but it's like, even though Moss knew he was looking at his own death by looking at that, And he even has a thing where he says to himself, he's like, at what point would you stop looking for your $2.5 million? And he says, and then he answers his own question in his mind, which is, yeah, there ain't no such thing. So, you know.
Yeah. Plus, I think he does take the risk because he was a soldier. He survived Vietnam. He thinks he's he's being a little bit arrogant as well, but he's not totally naive into what he's put himself in. He does realize there are consequences to the actions.
Yeah,
The actions
I
he's just
forgot
taken.
about the tracker, but I was kind of thinking that if he had just stuck it in the truck, gone to his wife, said, "Look, get in, we're going." I know America is a very sparse and difficult to drive across place, but I was kind of thinking he could get out of Dodge before the fire came down on him, kind of thing. But yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
but
should have done that straight away. Should have picked her up and headed the fuck out of town straight away.
Yeah,
Not done that.
that probably wouldn't have helped either. Even if you just sent me,
would have made him prime suspect.
Right. The first thing I would have done is, did anybody leave town recently? So
yeah.
So in the end, they eventually find you, no matter which end of the world you run to. But yeah, he's come back now, and the guy's already fucking dead. And what a coincidence! Some of the other fucking cartels just caught him as well, and now he knows he's been identified. He's lost his truck as well. He has to get away.
Could those guys be the wolves that our other guy was warning them
ooh,
about?
I like
I was
that.
thinking that when he said
I
that.
like
Yeah,
that.
that was what I was thinking right from the off.
They
to be honest
will.
with you. I thought,
Damn, you guys are fucking smart. You guys
They
are so
will hunt
smart.
you down.
Yeah,
They will
only
hunt
just
you
we're only
down and
just
attack.
Mm. It's crazy how you guys' country goes to shit, but you guys are all like really intelligent. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a weird.
We
Yeah,
are
that's
all.
really
we feign intelligence. We feign intelligence. It's
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
most of
faking
us
it.
are just waking up from the programming as
You're
well.
faking
so,
it great. I'm very impressed.
We're
with
actually on the way over to your place in a dinghy tonight.
Come on. I've got
Well,
lots of room.
four of
I've
us.
got lots of room in my building. You guys are all welcome.
Thank you. I will swim the Atlantic just to get to yours.
Speaking of swimming, this has got to be one of the more terrifying dog scenes I've ever seen in a
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
fucking hell!
Yeah.
This dog does not give up, does it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
Doesn't matter how many
motherfucker.
times you see this movie, like this is tense.
yeah.
Even more so because he performs the cleaning ritual on the 45 because 45s are flying ashtray guns, as we call them, and they're very effective but also very fussy, and they're liable to jam in the slightest thing. He knows this, performs the quick sports on the weapon, the slap, pull, observe, release, tap, shoot, blows out the cartridge that was in there, gets rid of that one because once the cartridge is wet, it's useless. Racks it around in there after making sure that the slide is clear, and then pops the dog right as the dog makes its leap. I mean, it is a tense fucking scene, man, and well done scene.
These dogs are pretty fucking vicious as well. These ones, they're like a much more aggressive breed of.
That thing went after him, like crazy.
He was a big lad.
Yeah, these dogs are trained to be fucking killers. I mean, these are not domesticated in the slightest. And yeah, he's got a lot of like shrapnel that's pierced his skin. It hasn't gone through, but he still has to fucking get out of there and get some care as well, because that could be leading to all sorts of infections and shit.
This is a very tense exchange as well.
Yeah, it's an incredible scene.
You guys noticed?
We've already seen Shigo kill people, but this is where we get a bit of an insight into his fucking mind a little bit as well. But does this sort of show his paranoid as well? Because the guy was just asking a question and he starts getting there.
Well, it's both. So it's the fact that the guy's asking where he's from because he saw his plates, as people in this parts of the country are wont to do. But it also is something, now he's been memorable, and then on top of that, he doesn't respect this man because this man is he doesn't respect you if you don't contribute or do something that's in his mind a real job or a real position. So he in the conversation he finds out that the guy married into having the business. He doesn't find that to be respectable. I also like the little visual of the braking coolants and things like that in the back that kind of look like nooses in the back behind him, as if I like that.
Yeah, and the way the camera pans slowly onto him as well as he keeps tempting him, trying to sort of like push this guy's buttons or something. And the way he interrogates.
Cinematography is great. You don't even really realize.
Yeah.
I think Deacon said he doesn't use any zoom lenses or anything like that.
Mm.
He said he doesn't even carry one on him because his cinematography style just doesn't really use them. That kind of like mid-paced zoom that you go in, so the camera moves in as if you're there. It's very clever.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, the thing about zoom is, you get a very flat image with a zoom. So when you're actually moving in with a zoom, it's almost like bringing a photograph closer to you rather than the rest of the environment closer to you. So when you push in, when you dolly in or track out, you get a kind of a perspective. So it's
There's
kind
a
of
motion that's not there when you
yeah,
zoom.
yeah. It's kind of very similar to the parallax effect. The parallax effect, where everything moves sort of in tandem with the camera. So you have all the surroundings, everything is moving. It's not just it isn't just kind of moving in onto a flat image or moving in onto a subject. So everything around is moving as well, so you get a completely different perspective.
It's why that zoom shot in Jaws is so effective.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a,
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
track in and a zoom out. Yeah,
Exactly. It's so
yeah.
clever.
So it's kind of kept static on him, but it tracks in at the same moment that it actually zooms out.
Yeah.
Just quickly as a name drop, I did meet Roy Scheider and work with him as well. Ding.
Was he a dick or was he
So-
nice?
What?
He was lovely. He
Yeah, I
was
got the feeling
lovely.
he was
What a
a cool dude.
lovely
Yeah,
man.
William
Yeah, he's a lovely
Friedkin
man.
really didn't like him after when they did Sorcerer as well, because he had done well with Jaws and that, and he felt he got a bit of a big head on him. But Roy Schneider's always come across as a guy who has a sense of humour. He was very funny in Family Guy and the guest appearances he had.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he does like a public video on how to use the fucking toilet. It's a very funny gag.
I'll try
He
my
had a
hardest not
nuts-
to name drop. I'll try my very hardest not to name drop on this stream. All right. So
No, you can go right ahead, mate. You
Shit.
didn't-
If I
didn't
met
need
famous
Christopher
people, it
Lee,
would
so
be
I
out
don't
of my
have to
mouth
put it down.
every single conversation, man. You're a better man than me, dude.
Yeah, I like
I'll
that kind of
just do a quick ding every time somebody
Yeah.
mentions somebody
Yeah.
that I might have
Love
worked
it.
with on there.
Love it. Did I tell you guys that I went to high school with Oscar Isaac? Because I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
from a
really?
false in
Yeah.
town. You did on the X-Men stream as well, didn't you? Remember?
Yeah.
Because you were
Oscar
talking about
Hernandez.
wasn't it?
Oscar Hernandez. Yeah. Class of
Yeah.
'96, baby.
Wow.
Yeah. I always kind of noticed that Anton Chigurh as well. He looks like he's trying to blend in with the townsfolk, but he still looks like he sticks out a bit because his clothes are very muted. They're very dark, aren't they? He's wearing the denim jacket, the cowboy boots, and he still looks like he doesn't belong there.
I've heard it said that he doesn't, though. I've heard he said because of the haircut, and then because of like everybody else is wearing these kind of boots, but his boots kind of like are like aggressively
Yeah, I always thought
animalistic and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, I
know-
think the costume designer said the same thing, that they wanted to make his boots look intimidating as well. Like
he's like of no country that you can figure out of origin. Like he's vaguely Hispanic, but also maybe vaguely European as well. He has that kind of a mishmash accent and a mannerisms that don't. He's sort of like in moments of repose, he's sort of effeminate in some way, but then in other ways, he's obviously hyper masculine and sociopathic. So
you can't place him or get his wants or his character or anything like that.
Yeah.
It is a masterful performance by Javier Bardem. It really is.
He's always keeping you guessing, isn't he? Every time he speaks, but
he's an enigma.
You sort of understand him, but at the same time you don't, and But it never feels inconsistent with his character as well. He's got some kind of code when it comes to this sort of thing. It just happens to be a very fucked up code that he believes is righteous to him.
He still has that air of unpredictability as well, which makes him all the more menacing and unfamiliarity.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think it's almost like the Joe Pesci character in
Yes,
Goodfellas,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like that. Like you don't
Right.
know what he's going to do.
Anytime he's on screen, it's like it's a possibility of death for another character.
Exactly. Yeah, he could snap it.
Oh yeah,
any
the
point.
guy was 10 times worse as well. I mean, I read the book Wise Guys, and yeah, Joe Pesci's version of Tommy is much nicer than what the real guy was like. Apparently, I mean,
Yeah.
he was sort of fucking waiter for target practice if he needed to, and it was damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Matthew were vicious bastards. They were, but I like this thing with the coin as well, and now he's like he's giving them a reason to have a life. You know, like if like call it, you know, you're betting on everything now, everything.
Yep. I got to know what I'm putting up. Everything.
Yeah, I think he as you say, Toxic. He looks at this character, this guy in the gas station. He doesn't respect him. The guy's just middling through life, just trying to get through. He doesn't value his life.
Right. No, he doesn't, and he doesn't value the fact that this old guy doesn't value his life either. He doesn't respect that. But juxtaposed against when he does the coin toss and he wins, he's legitimately happy and proud for the guy. Yeah. He's like, well done. And he's not being sarcastic or meaning when he says it. He believes the guy did a good job.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he respects the value of calling. I think that's the thing is he gives the people a choice. And that's, he doesn't, he respects the fact that you have the balls to make a call when you don't know what the result is.
But also, I think it shows that he's that chance plays a big role in Sugar's life as well. And if
fate is one of the themes in this in this film. Fate is a massive thing.
Yeah, the inevitability.
It is in the book as well because it's more or less a direct thing.
This coin toss, I think, for me, this coin toss, I think, is one of the most terrifying scenes in any movie.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
More than Tommy Lee Jones.
I can tell you now. I can tell you now. I mean, watching this in the cinema, everybody's anuses were clenched.
Mine was just going to get
you went by and checked, did you?
The only reason you could,
excuse me, ma'am, how's your anus?
Clenched. But the only reason you could tell is that there was almost like an exhale of relief. When it didn't go how we were sort of expecting it to go.
As I say, I saw this film. I saw that scene before I saw the film, and
like a clip on YouTube or something.
Yeah, it was on. It was either on YouTube or it was on like a review show or like a clip show or something like that.
Yeah,
and I was blown away just by the scene without knowing the context for the film, and I was just like, wow, I kind of need to see this film. I need to see this character. It was the character that blew me away. Javier Bardem's delivery in that film, that kind of deadpan, slow,
completely cold, totally cold.
So cold.
Yeah, he's almost very emotionless eyes as well, just like very dead-eyed stare.
Yeah, reminds me of that line again from Jaws with the doll's eyes.
Black eyes, doll's eyes.
But yeah, he was just so dispassionate and cold, which is why I just described him as I say mindless wasn't the right word, but he's merciless.
Indifference,
he's almost like a machine.
Yeah.
He's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, he just sees it as something he has to do. You shouldn't have a conscience about it, any emotions about it. You're doing your job, and that's it.
Yeah. Can I just point out? Sorry, I was just going to say, like what Inside Man was saying there about the entire audience was like, your arseholes were all clenched over this scene, and why was that? Like, why did you care about this man in the gas station that nobody knew? But it's just a testament to like good writing and instant character development. We pretty much knew who he was and what he was about, and we knew what we needed to know, that he was a very nice man and a naive man, and he grew up there, and we got all this kind of instantly, and that's where our sort of allegiances lay, which made us sort of relate and
I think you identify with him, don't you? Because literally just through making conversation. Through making conversation, like you said, as people would tend to do in a small town, kind of out the way gas station type thing, he is literally at the risk of a 50-50 chance of death.
Yeah. He could be wiped out just like that.
And it's not his fault or anything like that. He's just come up against this merciless, unstoppable killer, and he just doesn't know what he's fucking with, basically.
Yeah,
Just
because I
part-
think he
part
sees
of
the
the-
coins as a way to sort of confirm of whether someone deserves it or not, because he almost sees this guy like he does deserve life because he's middling through life and all. But
Yeah, I mean, if
since
he's
the
paid
coin
to kill
decided otherwise,
somebody,
there's more to him than that. And just let him be.
if he's paid to kill somebody, or if he needs to kill somebody, the coin doesn't come into it. He doesn't flip a coin every time he shoots at the well of moss, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
But when it comes to just a person he meets, and he does that coin toss, and it's a fascinating conceit in the film. It's so cool.
But also, it's the way that he kind of transfers some form of life and importance into the coin. It's in literature, it's called a transferred epithet. So you give something an inanimate object, an actual life. It has something. It has some more of a meaning than just an inanimate object. So and handing the coin over to this guy. And
I
saying,
love that line
don't
at the end.
just put it into your pocket.
yeah.
Don't
Otherwise,
just
it'll
put it
just
in
be
your
another
pocket.
coin.
Because it will
won't
just turn into
Yeah.
another coin, which
Yeah.
it is. Oh
Yeah.
man,
This is the coin that
Yeah.
this is the coin that prevents you from getting killed. You should cherish
Yeah.
this. There is meaning
Yeah.
behind it.
But at the same time, it is just another coin. That's
Yeah.
the that's
He
there's
doesn't
nothing
see it as
about it.
coincidence as well that the coin made it to him, because he says that the coin's like 20 years old as well, and it's made its way to him
Which is
for a
another
reason.
when I
Yeah.
say about the themes of fate, there's another nod to the themes of fate in this film. The fact that
But
But there's
coin,
something very. Excuse me. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that the coin had a destiny, and that it was predestined to turn up at this particular point and make that choice. Is
Yeah.
clever thing.
But there is something very, really quite poetic about this scene. I think it's a really, really poetic scene. It's it's moving in some quite different ways. I mean, it is moving. I do find it a very, very moving. I mean, even when he's talking about the coin, and the importance and significance of the coin, I do actually find just that quite poetic and quite moving.
Yeah,
Which
it's weird
probably
'cause
makes me a bit of a weirdo.
the coin
It
itself
does,
doesn't
it
necessarily
does give you
mean
some
anything to
understanding
him.
about him as well. Like you understand, it gives you makes you understand like he's not just killing for the love of it. He's like he's got this philosophy, and it gives him some kind of meaning, or
Exactly.
him killing is what
Exactly.
gives the world meaning as well.
Yeah.
As I say, he doesn't actually. He shows no passion in any of the killing, any of it that he does. He doesn't. He just does it as a not an instinct, but as almost like a pre-programmed, action. And talking about that coin is probably the most passionate we see him in the entire film.
Yeah, he shows. He's seen
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
you're
It
right.
shows. It gives us another insight into him. Like he's a man of principles as well, because these two guys that have hired him. He obviously he finds the tracker as well, and a little bit of the examination. He finds Moss's car, and then he just executes both these fucking guys as well. And there's a few people that
Who were those two guys that turned up?
So these two guys work. So there's two different firms. There's the cartel, the Mexicans, and then there's whatever this firm is.
do
It's
probably
like
like
a
the middleman as
bounty
well.
hunters or something.
Yeah, and then so they were in some ways insulting him in the book, and I think they say it too in the movie, but I'm not sure where they're saying, you want to get in and ride, bitch. And they say that to him. He takes offense to that. And then once he discovers that he doesn't really need these guys, and in fact, these guys may or may not be interfering with his rule of there needs to be just one tool. So there's a bunch of cartel gangbangers hunting down Moss, but he himself representing the other firm, it just needs to be him. So he just pops these guys as like a way of like, you guys are kind of getting in my way. I took the tracker from you. I don't need you moving forward. And there's really just no reason to keep you alive, because you're just going to wind up getting in my way later on. The only quibble I have with this is that this is one of those times, and there's about a dozen times in the movie, even though it's visually stunning and it does really well, there are things that are just not conveyed in the story as they are in the book. Also, he's using a Glock, and Glocks were not invented at that time, so there's no way he would have had that weapon. But that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Who does Sugar work for then? Like
he works for that.
The scene where Moss has told his wife that they need to get the fuck out of town now, go to his mum's, and he has to hide for a little bit as well and lie low until everything blows over. And now we're introduced to Sheriff Bell as well, and this is where we get into the actual theme of the movie. It's like the guy who's feeling outmatched now, the criminal man, is getting worse, and he doesn't know if he's able to deal with it, or maybe the criminal man was always bad and he's just looking back on the days with rose-tinted sunglasses. Who knows?
Agreed.
Yeah, but there is still humor as well in there. Like there's funny little lines that come around, and it's not laid on real thick. It just feels very natural. And I love this line where his wife's asking him to be careful and don't hurt no one, and he just has this. He makes this little quip as well, saying, "If you say so."
Yeah,
you can tell as well that those two have a solid relationship as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely relationship.
Yeah. Just from the
When
little
you've been
bits of
together for that
dialogue.
long that you just know each other.
Yeah.
yes.
Just the way that they talk and look at each other, and
Yeah,
good. It's good.
yeah.
Again, it's great writing. And,
Yes, it really is. I mean, it's actually quite beautiful, really, the way that the relationship is conveyed. You know, just in the few amount of lines and the interactions that they have with each other, because there isn't that much, to be fair.
No, there's not a lot of dialogue in this film in general, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's mostly body language, isn't it? And saying without saying anything, and that's I really love it when films do
Lots of uncomfortable silences to build the tension. It's really well done.
It's a nice, refreshing change as well, because 95% of movies that come out of Hollywood, everyone's screaming at each other.
Yeah, they always have to throw in a shitload of exposition all the time. Really annoying.
That's what I'm talking about. One of the reasons that I love the fact that this film's got a very minimal score. It's because most Hollywood films you'd see these days would have that stupid French horn going down, down, or
like
it's got to have something going on at all times.
Case of Bois.
Wasn't this an independent? This was an independent production, wasn't it? I don't think it was mainstream Hollywood. I think it was an independent production, wasn't it?
Well, it was Miramax. I don't know if it's that. I mean, it's Coen Brothers Miramax. I don't know if it's. I don't know. If that...
I mean, yeah. Does Miramax, does that really count as? I mean, it used to count as independent, didn't it? But
well, early on, the early aughts. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's it had a pretty low budget though. A budget of 25 million, I think.
Wow,
they made it work, didn't they? Because it's all
25 million.
It's got a realistic look. They're out on location for real.
Did 171 in the box office.
It did very well.
Nice one. And I love this actor he with Tommy Lee Jones as well. Let me get his name up. Garrett Dillahunt, who plays Wendell. And
he is great. This
he's
guy
is everything. He was in. He's played two characters in Deadwood. He's been
yes.
Yeah.
He auditioned 5 times, didn't he, for Josh Brolin's part?
Did he?
Yeah, something like that. Tried again.
Yeah, he was up for the role of Llewellyn Moss. Yeah.
Like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's a real good cop, but at the same time, he's not as calm as Tommy Lee Jones. Like when they're in the trailer later, and he's like, "Oh my god, we just missed him."
Yeah, we just missed him. Sheriff, we got to circulate this.
And he's obviously very funny as well. You can tell this guy he's obviously saying a lot of stuff to sort of cover up what he's seeing as well, because it's all part of the job. You got to have a bit of a dark sense of humor to get you through it. But they've got some good chemistry, these two as well. Like he doesn't seem too much of a young blood here, but at the same time, he's obviously nowhere near experienced as Bell is here as well, played by Tommy Lee Jones, and he just sells it. This guy who's been doing this job way too fucking long, and that's weighing on him a little bit.
He's the definition of over it, isn't he? Yeah.
Once again, a very funny line where he asks him to take his wife's horse as well, because if anything happens to her, I don't want to get no shit off it.
Yeah.
Get no hassle off his
wife. One of the things I love about Tommy Lee Jones' character is that it's almost like he really wants to not be doing the job, but he has that kind of, well, if I'm not doing it, who else is going to be as good as me that's going to do this job? Who's going to be the replacement? Who's going to have the sense, that the kind of moral compass that he has. So there's a reluctance about him, but he knows that he is an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
His character is almost
a little bit up as well, doesn't he? Yeah, like when you see him, you think, all right, this is the guy who's going to stop the villain now. But then you come to this very nihilistic ending later, which I'll get into later. But yeah, it does turn the usual cop hunting the villains on its head as well.
He reminds me a bit of the Robert Duvall character from Falling Down, sort of.
Yeah, except he
Yeah,
actually does take
yeah,
down his
yeah.
who he needs to take down. This guy, no, he's really met his match here with this one. He's dealt with all sorts of scum and villainy, and it is touched a lot more in the book as well. And I think the book does add a bit more context into why he decides to quit as well, because I don't know at the end where he's talking about the Mexican kid and he talks about dragging the kid out of the courthouse and shooting him. I don't know if he was imagining that or if he did do that, because if he did do that, why isn't he arrested in the book? But I don't know. Toxic will know more about that.
Yes. Oh, did you want to
Anyway.
talk about it? You want to talk about it now, or you want to do it at the end?
Well, we'll talk about it later. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Yeah,
that's. I thought you were hinting at we talk about it later. So that's.
Yeah, because it is. Yeah, it's definitely one that confused me a bit when I listened to it. Anyway, once again, we're showing these good cops. Yeah, they're already making possibilities of what could happen, and they're mostly bang on as well. They even think, you don't think there probably isn't going to be any money, but he doesn't believe that one bit. There is going to be some money.
Yeah, I love the way that their flow, their syntax, the way they speak. It's so old school Texas country. It's like there might not have been no money there, Sheriff, and he's like, yeah, it could be. He's like, but you don't believe it. Probably I don't. That kind of the back and forth that they have when they speak to each other is very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, look at those fucking boots. Look how they look dangerous as well. Those heels, man.
Those boots look like they could kill somebody on their own, man.
Yeah, I think that was your point. They wanted him to make him look like he was trying to blend in, but still didn't look right with everybody else in the area.
Still lethal, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously he's tracked Moss's house down from the license plate, and he's looking around to see if he can find anything, because he's probably guessed that he's left town as well, so he's trying to find whatever he can find that might lead him to where he could head to next, because that seems to be the point. And then there comes this scene where he just looks at the TV screen and just stares into this blackness while drinking the milk. It's Bev adds more what's going around in his mind.
I love this lady so much. God.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had this theory as well that he could have killed her right now or threatened her to get the information, but he doesn't, because he kind of respects her. She's sticking to her job.
Yes, that's right. Good for you, man. Yeah, that's exactly why he doesn't kill her, because she stands on business and she's doing her job, and he respects. Some people have said, well, he heard someone else flush a toilet, so there was another person there. Like, why would he give a shit about that? He's shown he'll kill multiple people, but because she stands her ground and this is her job to give out or not give out information, depending on who's asking, because she does that, he's like, okay, I see you're all right, I respect it, so I'm going to move along.
Yes, exactly. And then obviously he draws a parallel with him. He's just doing his job, she's just doing her job.
Right.
We're similar kind of people, and I respect that.
Yeah, and she's doing the right thing as well. She's not giving away private information that violates her clients' or one of her tenants' privacy as well. She's doing the right thing, and it's of course you can't kill her for that, because
right. But to be honest, we all thought she was going to die when we first saw her. We were like, oh, she's going to kill her.
Yeah, a little bit more scene, a nice little scene as well, where she obviously knows something's bad, and he's trying to sort of cover up he's trying to put her mind at ease as well, saying, well, I got a good feeling, so it all evens out. But she knows things are going to go fucking wrong. But it does give her a bit more insight into why he's stole the money as well, because she won't have to work anymore either. But that's not going to be the fucking case. And obviously they've tracked down Moss as well, because his truck was there. And once again, he's missed Anton Chigurh. And this is where we get the people theorizing that Anton Chigurh was a ghost he was chasing, and all this was what he built up into his mind. And because the job's being he's been doing the job too long, and I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy that theory at all.
Well, if he was a ghost, why would he need a pneumatic plunger thing to open the door?
Yeah, I know. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. But they know that Moss is in danger now, and the first thing they can do is try to find Moss before Anton Chigurh does. And I love how he sees the milk as well, and like you said, he panics a little bit as well. He gets a little bit hasty, and Tommy Lee Jones is like, "Listen, what else can we do? I mean, we don't know what this guy looks like. I mean, we can't put a search party out for him, so."
Yeah. Looking for a man who has recently drunk milk.
Drunk milk. Great little line as well. Great little, very funny line. It's not too over the top comical, but he also gives him a little hint that the guy they're dealing with is definitely no one that should be fucked with as well, because he looks at the TV screen and drinks that milk as well. Now comes now Josh Brolin has split up with his wife, and now is trying to lie low, is trying to make sure she's safe as well away from him, because he knows him being there is more of a danger to her. So he finds a nice little motel room to stay for now, and he finds a good place to hide the money. And it's a good little tactic as well, because it's like a little.
He does.
Yeah,
he does so many smart things, but just too many stupid ones. That's the problem.
He should have examined that case more thoroughly as well for the tracker, because that seems like
God.
I mean, you would have to think that there would be a track. I mean, that's just.
Well, you always assume that if you guys ever come across a big bundle of money, first thing you do, take it to a laundromat, not your own laundry. Take it to a public laundromat, put it in a dryer with no heat, and then make it tumble. It'll kill any tracer that's on the.
You've got to remember, though, guys, that this takes place in 1980. I don't think any of us would have thought about a tracker, because there wasn't that much technology publicly known. Like, we've got internet and all sorts now. We've got CCTV and every sort of tracking device known to man. But back then, 1980, it wouldn't have been the first thing I would have thought of. I don't think.
I'm just writing down that tip from Toxic the next time I go to Westbridge for the drug deal. Chuck it in the tumble dryer. Nice one.
Yeah. No heat though, because heat will burn the money. So make sure it's no heat.
Well, it'll melt our money, because our money's all plastic now.
It is plastic now, isn't it?
All right. So
that does make it washing machine proof, because I've lost a lot of fivers in the washing machine over the years.
So Llewellyn's looking to upgrade his wardrobe a little bit. Larry Mahan's used to be a really popular kind of boot. And plus it's not really described too much outside of the book, but I mean, you can infer, because he had lost his boots in the swim, and then he had to walk, catch a bus, and then make it home. And he did a lot of that walking in bare feet. So his feet are all cut up and messed up, not to the point of like John McClane and Die Hard, but enough to where, his feet are pretty tore up. So he's looking to, upgrade that and get some cushy boots that he can wear, and some nice clean socks, which is the first thing they teach you as an infantryman in the military, is make sure you've got clean socks and you're always changing them as often as possible, especially when you're on the march.
Because there's something about what is it, trench foot as well, where your skin where if your skin's soaked into for such long extended periods of time, the flesh can go soft to the point where it can tear off easily.
It can go toxic, as one might say.
Yeah. Is that line white is all I wear in the book? Because that's an interesting dichotomy against Anton, who wears black.
Yes.
So you've got that kind of contrast between
the
white and the black.
God damn, you guys are shit. I'm gonna have to up my game to keep up with you guys, man. You guys are fucking good.
Come on, Toxic, sort your life out. Son.
I've got to sort myself out. I'm a dirty septic, aren't I?
What the fuck was that?
It ended up near Scottish, but I don't know.
Welsh and French mix.
I think Brits are probably the worst at doing American accents than Americans are at doing British accents. I don't know.
Luke's is pretty. Yeah, Luke's is pretty good.
Yeah. I think I'm okay. There's always times where my English pops up a bit when I do it, but this scene as well. I think people might have missed this as well, but in the book it explains it more. Like, he comes by the hotel again, and he sees the curtains are shut, and Yeah, so that's how he knows someone's in there. So yeah, he tells the taxi driver to take him to another hotel, and the guy's like, he's like, I don't want to get no jackpot. He's like, you already are. I'm trying to get you out of it. And this is where it starts to get a bit more suspenseful as well, because now Shigo is edging closer and closer. The tracker has just started going off, and yeah, he shoots out his pigeon, but he deliberately misses.
Well, I have another complaint about the film versus the book here, which is it's explained in the book that Moss is trying to buy a vehicle from one of his friends. He does make a quick phone call, and he's asking for this guy at an automotive place who's going to try to buy an untraceable vehicle and start driving, which is smart, and that's what he should do. But Shigure is one step ahead of him because he had seen the phone call and the thing, and that's how he gets closer to his position. Whereas we're supposed to just look at this and just figure that Shigure is just driving around, and then the tracker thing goes off. And so I don't know how that would have worked. I mean, at the least it would have added an extra scene, but it is one of the flaws of the movie versus the book. So score another one for the book as opposed to the movie there.
Yeah, there's always like little cons and pros when it comes to the differences. And yeah, obviously Bell's found out that there was no bullet; it was all a pneumatic air gun, and yeah, it's a little bit of exposition as well. And this is where, yeah, he knows he needs to start packing now. Someone's onto his trail. He knows it anyway, even if he didn't, because he's not totally naive. So gets a shotgun because it seems to be a good thing to take someone on at close range, because he's probably predicting that he's going to have more close encounters than anyone at the distance.
Why is a shotgun a good weapon to use there, Luke?
You get a good spread.
Yeah.
And I think he asked for like a double kind of cartridge sort of thing as well, because
double aught buck shot. Yeah.
Double buck. Yeah. And he asked this guy for poles for a tent, and he's like, I need new poles. And he's like, well, my model is it? Never mind, I'll just have a tent. It's like, what model tent do you want? One with the most poles.
Yeah. This guy's just trying to help. He's just trying to be helpful.
He's like, it's like he's got this pain in the ass customer who can't make his mind up whether he wants the tent or the poles.
So this is a felony.
They make it look in the films, because in the films they make it look like you can literally just take a hacksaw to pretty much any gun and make it into a sawn-off. Is that the way it actually works?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, well, two things. One, he's a welder. So he knows how to do things like this. He knows what metal is going to work against what metal. But yeah, you can hacksaw.
Yeah, I remember him saying though. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you can hacksaw off a barrel. It's just tubed metal. It's not, it's not adamantium.
So he doesn't fuck the barrel or anything like that, because obviously I would presume the end of the barrel of the gun is, I don't know, tapered or something, or it's kind of rounding on it. I mean,
that's rifling. That's what you use for a rifle. Yes. That's rifling in the barrel. That's only if you have, like an individual shell rather than shotgun.
Right. So what he's shooting double aught, but so these little mini pellets, like what he got hit with earlier on. So they pack all these little mini pellets into it, and when it hits something, it opens up. Now, the closer you are to the impact, the larger the hole. The farther away, you'll start to see these little small pock marks where it hits. What he's doing is he's making the weapon easily concealable.
I get that's why they saw things off. But then why aren't all guns just sawn off? Why have the long barrel?
Well, the long barrel gives you more accuracy.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So
it keeps the shot together, doesn't it? For longer. If you saw the barrel off, then you're going to get an instant spread. So it does potentially more damage at close range.
So you are just reducing the lethal capacity.
And of course, the longer the barrel, and of course, the longer the barrel, the more accurate.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, because the rifle will take more respect. You'll get more spin off the shell, presumably, which is what the rifle is there for, isn't it?
Yeah. Once again, we're seeing a guy doing something really fucking smart as well.
That's only if it's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's now trying to get a room that's basically on the other side of his room as well, so he can get through the vents to get the case.
Yeah, as I'm saying, it's a smart place to hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he knows some people are hiding in his room right now, so he has to get it somehow and somewhere. And it goes to show he thinks outside the box as well. He's very resourceful when he needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the woman as well. How puzzled she is. It's like, this is like a double beard.
Yeah, because she's dealing with from her area of expertise, which is the comfort of the tenants and the clients. He's dealing it with, okay, what's the closest I can get to use these poles to latch onto the case and drag it through the AC duct. So they're operating on two different things. So she's just sort of incredulous, like, well, it's got 2 double beds. Why don't you want it?
And it's funny as well. It's very funny. It feels very Coen Brothers as well.
Yes.
Sometimes they make some kind of humor out of the mundane. It's like the more mundane the dialogue is, the funnier it is. It's like
And it's
Fargo,
a bleak
like,
film, so you need it. It's a very, very bleak film.
This.
And of course,
going
each
off
of the
now
minor supporting characters. Sorry,
yeah,
I think
no,
I might have a little bit of a delay going on. I've
the
just
same
come
thing
out.
as well. Like, the Hitcher did the same thing where you'd see the normal country folks in the dance just talking about normal mundane stuff in the background while Thomas C. Howell's trying to hide away from Rutger Hauer. It's a nice little thing that adds some kind of reality to the whole thing. And this is a very realistic film. Apart from the silencer suppressor on the shotgun, it's very, very realistic, and you can believe this stuff could happen. And I always like these little scenes where someone resourceful is putting things together using like very mundane sort of like everyday stuff as well.
It's like fucking MacGyver or something, isn't it?
Yeah, like a real life.
This is where there is a little bit of a parallel to be drawn with the Terminator, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all happening as well. I love that. I don't know why this makes me laugh. Just the way Shigar just coldly looks at the fucking rooms as well that he wants to hire. Well, it's just a very quiet awkwardness about it.
There's lots of normal people being impacted. A very situation, isn't it?
He's not a very normal guy, and he's having to pretend to be normal in front of these people, and it just makes it funny.
As you say, it's very much like the Terminator.
Yeah. Oh, we lost Inside Man. Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, no.
Probably a signal.
Yeah, he said he had some delays, so he'll be back in a sec.
Oh, Luke, can you go back a couple slides to Sugar? If I'm sorry, I meant to try to stop you. But right there, where Sugar? No, go forward to the other one.
Okay, that one. Oh yeah,
the next one Sugar's in.
Okay.
You guys, you guys understand what he's doing in this scene?
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah. Because he's probably is. I don't know. Is he trying to get ready because he knows where the suit is, getting prepared? Because I know he takes his boots off as well, so he doesn't make no noise and get any blood on it as well.
Well, yes, he's doing that, but also, so all the rooms are, this is all prefab stuff. All the rooms are made the same. You see how he's handling the wall right there. They have that little quick scene where he walks into his own room really quickly and flicks the light on. Yeah. He wants to see what the room dimensions are going to look like when it changes from black to light, and he also wants to see how bright the lights are going to be and if it's something that's disorienting. And what he's doing right now, the way he's touching the wall, he wants to see how thick it is and whether a shotgun round will go through it.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice little thing. Fucking hell. I love these little moments like you don't think about until someone who has been there has mentioned it. It's and it adds a bit more of an element of reality as well to it all. And while he's trying to get the money, Shigar's getting ready to prepare now. He's taking his boots off now. And I love how he just basically just takes his fucking guards down as well. It's like they're nothing. Yeah, this guy was just having a nice little time relaxing, and then suddenly this asshole bursts in with his shotgun and fucking blows his head.
The weapon is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. I'm so glad it's not real.
Oh, Christ, man. That is a very unsettling film.
The weapon is real. It's just...
I mean, the silenced aspects of it. I know the Remington's real.
Yeah.
Remington 1186, I think I remember.
Yeah, I think this guy's using like what an Enneagram is he?
I think he's got a Mac 10, but I can't really see.
10, yeah. Yeah, not good though, because it shuts up, doesn't it? Yeah, now he hears what's happening as well.
How did those cartel guys get to know that was the room to be in? Because that's the room that Llewellyn hired, isn't it? Is it not?
Yes, I don't know. It's never explained how the cartel figured out which room he was in or whatever. I mean, your guess is as good as mine on that one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
No, but it does give a hint that Moss knows that it's not just another bunch. There's another bunch of guys are hunting him. There's another guy as well, and it's looking like he could be in some kind of fucking standoff here as well. Yeah, and this guy, he knows his number's up. He knows he's not going to take him on.
This
He
is
tries to
brutal.
beg as well, but
Yeah.
nah.
And the way he pulls that screen across, just like, nah.
Yeah, because you don't want to get blood on your nice denim jacket, do you?
Or ruin that hairstyle.
Well, he's quite fastidious about his boots, isn't he? Because he checks his boots for blood at the end of the film as well, which is
Yeah.
kind of how you know that he offed what's her name.
Special
this
boots.
this bit I always question as well. I mean, he takes the socks off, understandable as well, but he throws it in with the body. I mean, don't you want to get rid of the socks, dispose of the socks properly though, without them being found? I don't know.
See, you're thinking in this day and age where they have DNA testing. They didn't
DNA.
This is
Not until the
1980.
80s, was it?
Yeah, this is literally 1980. They'd have no way. Those socks would be meaningless.
Plus, they couldn't get your fingerprints from inside your socks.
Right.
Oh, I thought I still had something like maybe something not as advanced as today, but something that was still
They were
malleable.
still in 94, 95 when they had the OJ trial on, it was still the DNA was still in its infancy, wasn't even working. That's why he got cleared, because people were like, DNA, that sounds like magic. That's not even real.
I wonder if they could have gotten these toe prints.
I think the,
I love very
I think the most
That's the problem.
I think the most they could actually get out of sweat, saliva, and semen at that time was to find out which blood group you were, and that was it.
Yeah, so now she goes. He's actually figured out what Moss has done, and he looks into the vent, and it's already gone. And this guy makes me laugh as well, because once again, it's normal people assuming something very mundane is happening here, but no, it's not. It's much more extreme. It's like, hitchhiking at your age. Yeah, and this is where we come to
the great Woody Harrelson making his appearance.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson as well, and the fucking guy from Dodgeball as well. I forgot his name now. Let me get it up. He's a good actor. He's a
Coen Brothers mainstay, you know.
Yeah, he's in Fargo as well. He's
Office Space,
Godly Bastards as well as Pathetic Arseholes. He's a very, very good actor.
Great actor.
Stephen Root.
What is it?
And he doesn't have a character name. He's called
Stephen
Man of High
Root.
Clouds. That's it.
Yeah.
Does anybody else know that Woody Harrelson's father was a contract killer?
Yes.
Yeah, because when we did Natural Born Killers, I mean, I knew about that as well, because when I first filmed,
Holy shit.
That's why he got cast in the role in Natural Born Killers, because Oliver Stone saw darkness in him, which is a weird thing to say, because Woody Harrelson seems like one of the nicest fucking people you can ever hang out with.
I would definitely have him round for tea.
Yeah,
100% for a packet of crisps and.
Yeah, if you like a good doobie, he'd fucking have a nice. He would. I don't smoke weed, but fuck it, light up. I'll have a beer. We'll still have a fucking chat.
Between him and McConaughey, that fucking weed budget on True Detective season 1 must have been astronomical.
He's also one of the few liberals in Hollywood who actually has a bit of common sense. I mean, that SNL monologue he did as well. Didn't get a laugh from the audience, but sure as hell got a fucking laugh off me.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he did well. Love you, Woody. But yeah, he obviously knows much about Anton Chigurh as well. He's hired to find out why he's killing his fucking men that's tracking the money. And it's like, that's you fucking hiring those other guys might not have been the best idea. This guy, he's not like your typical hired gun. He has some kind of morals that transcend money. Yeah, he's also a vicious psychopath, but that's not important. Yeah, and I think in the book, he's not really the main guy. He's another middleman for someone bigger than him.
Yes, that's correct.
And the book does establish that as well. Anton Chigurh actually bumps into the main guy as well, and I think I can't remember what happened now. Did he kill the guy, or did he actually become a proper work?
No, he returns. Well, obviously, spoiler. He returns the money, and gives his explanation for why it took so long and why there was so much of it missing. And the main guy says something to the effect of about his painting that's in the office. He says, "Is that the real thing or a replica?" He's like, "It's a replica. The real thing is in a safe." And that's what makes Sugar think, okay, this is a guy I can work for, because that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's kind of like the false hope as well. We get like, he knows Anton Sugar. He might be the only guy who can take him down, but we found out later that's not going to be the fucking case.
No, not even close.
No, that surprised me in the film. I was like, I was kind of expecting a bit more. And then it's just, literally gets shot in his underwear or something, doesn't he?
No, he gets it happens almost exactly like it happens in the film, actually.
Yeah, so now Moss knows that. Yeah, so now Moss knows that even though he's got a hotel room, he's got to be a bit more smarter now. He's even asking the clerk to give him a ring if anybody new comes in, anyone that looks unfamiliar, maybe something like that.
Yeah, well, he says any swinging dick, which is country for anyone that comes in. I want to know about it.
I guess this is one of the weird things about America, because in the UK, if you find $2.5 million, you could be out of the country in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like, it would not take long to escape. But I guess in America,
how would you get it? How would you get it through customs?
In your socks.
Yep, in your socks.
Okay.
I suppose you could, even if you should just get on a ferry or something. I don't think they've got scanners at ferries. You just keep it in the back of your car or something like that. But the UK is pretty small and pretty easy to get out of. But I guess West Texas, Texas is pretty fucking big. So,
yeah.
I guess
it takes like 8 to 9 miles to get from Hull to London. That's north and south. So, yeah, America, it's going to be a lot longer than that. It could be like I'm guessing a couple of days, if depending on where you're going.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you have to think in days for driving rather than hours, don't you? Because it's just, and also it's so spread out. I suppose it's not so much stuff close together.
If he chartered a private plane, he might have been able to pull it off. But any public transportation, anything over $10,000, you have to declare.
Oh, okay.
Which I found out the hard way when I came back from Kuwait the first time.
Yeah, and this is actually very different from the book. All right, he's already found out the tracker finally.
The first thing you check, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
As you say, he does a lot of smart stuff, but he does some stupid stuff as well.
I know. But in the book, it's different as well, because he kind of does get the drop on Anton a little bit here. Like he has, and Anton enters the room, and he manages to hold him up, doesn't he, and say, "Don't you dare turn around! Don't you dare turn around, or I will fucking kill you!" But then he realizes no matter what, Anton's going to get the drop on him anyway, so he tries to fucking run.
Yeah, I think score one for the movie here.
I definitely think. I don't think Anton should ever have the drop on him. No.
Well, one, he wouldn't get the drop on him, and two, if he did get the drop on him, there's no freaking way Moss, after all this shit, would have not just gunned his ass down right there.
So, I never got that either. He's right. You fucking got him. Just gun him down. This guy's gonna kill you. He's not gonna bargain with you.
Yeah.
But no, he just fucking runs. He just runs. Yeah. He gets fucking scared and bottles it. It's like and then after that, it's not Anton that injures him. It's some fucking other hired goons as well. And
there's a gunfight in the streets with the cartel guys show up and Anton shows up. And when the cartel, and that's sort of alluded to, but the cartel guys start shooting it out with Anton in the streets, and Moss is beating his feet trying to get out of there, and he gets popped a couple times. You're not really sure by who at that point in the crossfire. So.
It's one of the only scenes where the main sort of antagonists all come together in one scene, and it's just pure chaos.
Right.
Yeah, no, so keeping it to Anton Sugar was the smartest thing as well. It just makes him more of a threat as well. Makes him more of a threat, more of a force of nature, and it makes Moss even more vulnerable because he's injured right here. He's caught a bit of shrapnel from the pellets, and he's tried to backtrack a little bit as well, and you see that the clerk is being fucking killed. This is another thing change as well, because he does get picked up by a guy, but I think the guy makes it in the book.
No, I think they pop him. No, I think he gets popped in the book too.
Yeah, but it's a good little show of that death follows
Yes.
no matter what. Because
Yeah.
because this guy who's just minding his business has allowed this danger into his life, and he's paid for it now.
I think this is the same guy. I'm not sure, but I think this is the same guy that gets carjacked after the botched robbery in Raising Arizona, the other Coen Brothers movies by Nick Cage, is it not?
Yes.
You think
Oh,
this?
I don't know. I have to watch that again though. That's a fucking good one. That.
Son, you got a pantyhose on your head.
Yeah. Yeah, probably one of the funniest, stupidest bank robberies ever, and I love it. I love it. Yeah, he counts to 10, and he's like, hell with this, and he end up fucking making it back just to pick up the baby, and he's like, oh shit, 5, 4. I love that movie. I love the fact you never see Anton here as well. You just see the bullets hit, and it's like, it makes him even more scarier. But it's another little moment as well where we see that, even though Anton is pretty much a fucking dangerous man, he is still human. He can still get
he's
hurt.
not invulnerable. Moss spreading buckshot in his direction. I mean, something's, you got a problem in that direction, you shoot some buckshot, you ain't got no problem no more.
Yeah, once again, better than the book because it's Moss that injures him, not some fucking cartel members. I mean, because Moss is just as smart and tactical as Anton Chigurh is. It makes sense for him to get a little bit of the drop on him here.
Yeah. Well, it's a testament to how good Chigurh is by the fact that, he's got a double-aught buck sawed-off shotgun, and he's firing right point-blank range, and Chigurh manages to escape. Yeah, he gets clipped a little bit, but I mean, the fact that he was able to even escape, that's really impressive.
Yeah, because the thing is, he's just fucking shooting his guns, and he's really just shooting his shotgun and hoping he hits him, and by chance he does wing Anton in the leg.
Spray and pray.
Yeah. Yeah, once
these
again,
these
now we have to skip to Mexico.
Bastards.
Yeah, these little guys. Yeah, this is how fucking asshole teenagers would act when a guy is wounded and hands on fuck. Yeah, he's fucking badly injured. He hands him the money. He's like, I want beer as well. I was like, yeah, if you're wounded, a fucking beer can't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wakes up, he's got these mariachi guys, and he pays them as well. And Anton is now injured, and no way can he go to a fucking actual hospital. And he's probably run out of favors with any vets that are willing to do illegal medical procedures on his injuries. So, once again, it shows
he murdered them all.
Yeah,
well, he's gone rogue. I mean, there's no. I mean, he knows he's gone rogue, but his idea is the fact that, well, I'll just retrieve the package and kill this guy, and that'll be good enough for the bosses, which it is. But that middle management guy, Steven, whatever his name is
Stephen Rowe. Yeah,
Stephen. He's under the impression that Chigurh has gone rogue to keep the money for himself or something along those lines by shooting those other guys and stuff, not understanding that Chigurh has a moral. Chigurh would never do that. That's not. He's not programmed to do.
Yeah, that's one of the kind of. I mean, like, unless it's the first time they're using him, you'd think that he would have some kind of track record that shows that he always gets the job done and stuff. So I don't know if it's explained in the book in any way with any.
No, it's the middle management guy or guy that hires Moss he's of the same opinion. He's thinking, well, it's 2.5 million, so he's probably just figuring, fuck it. I'm gonna go get the money myself, and even the big boss at the end of the book is shocked that Chigurh comes back with the money,
right?
So
because he's not just another hired gun. He has his own fucking code, and it's almost he has this very philosophical outlook to the violence he inflicts on people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he does it indiscriminately anyway.
Right. So the reason why he soaks the piece of cloth, that's the starter mechanism. But the reason why he takes the lid off of the cotton balls, the cardboard lid, is so that will give him like a delayed timer on it. So because it's not the fuel that's blowing up, it's the gas or the fumes from it is what ignites it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it causes a nice distraction as well, so he can snatch all the medical supplies he needs as well. And once again, he's very resourceful. He's done this plenty of times. There's probably hints that he probably was in the army. I would not be surprised if he was one of these like hired mechs, hired hired for his skills and no conscience whatsoever back
Yeah.
in his younger days.
Oh yeah, I could see him being like Guatemalan special forces or some shit.
Oh yeah, fucking. And yet, once again, this film takes its time as well. It lets you see how these people work, and we're seeing him. He's very good at repairing himself when he's injured, and he'll go through the pain as well.
And that's a very good word to use, repair himself, because he is machine-like in many ways.
Again, it's just another kind of parallel with Terminator, isn't it? You know, it's just kind of all these little bits and pieces you can understand.
To check if
the
mechanisms are working properly.
You need somebody to come up to the hotel room for fuck you,
asshole.
Don't make me flip my coin, asshole.
Yeah, I've forgotten what the list bit's about. Oh yeah, it's about the DEA as well.
This is the he's doing regular housekeeping stuff. He's writing checks for the job, doing the monotonous thing of the job, basically hiding in his office from the situation because he realizes it's starting to grow out of his control. The secretary is telling him, hey, the DEA guy is out there and wants to know if you want to come out and get more involved in the investigation. And he's like, nah, I'm good. Don't want to get involved in that. And he knows he's got to go see Moss's wife. What's her name? Carla Jean. And wants her to just, this is the old days. He doesn't have a cell phone. So he just tells her, give the wife a call. And if she wants me to stop by, I'll get lunch. And then that's when something grabs his attention. And
again, going back to the themes of predetermination and fate, I don't know if it's in the book, but does Ben think, does he know what's going to happen, or he knows what way it's going to play out, and that's why he's avoiding it? He's kind of, because he's seen it all before, and he's just like, there's an inevitability.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I mean, I think there's a point in both the book and the film where he kind of thinks he may not catch the bad guy, but he thinks he might be able to protect Moss and Carla Jean. I think he really believes that. But also left out of the movie is the fact that, and score one for the book here, the reason he's still a sheriff at this age, he comes back in when the other sheriff died, and he's sort of paying penance because he'd been in the war and his entire unit got overrun while he was on Overwatch, and he allowed his unit to get overrun.
Oh, wow.
And didn't jump in and help them. And he wouldn't have been able to do anything really. He did have a Browning automatic rifle, a big machine gun, but he probably just would have wound up dying. So he went and hid in the woods and waited, and then he got a medal for that.
Survivor's guilt, then.
Yeah, and so that's why he does this, because he feels like he's not lived up to his father, his grandfather, his uncle, and obviously we get to meet the uncle at the end of the film and in the book.
That's a plus for the book, then, definitely. Yeah,
sure. So I don't know how they would have done that. So I think it's just one of those things you just got to kind of take it on the chin. And
I mean, the only way is either by doing some kind of stupid flashback, which wouldn't fit for this movie, or having him literally do some kind of monologue, and who's going to talk to about it. So
I mean, I'm sure that when they adapted,
go on.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say, I'm sure that when they actually adapted the book into the screenplay, I'm sure they had to kind of pare it down until they had they kept the essence, the real essence of the story without losing too much of what's in the book. And
let's be honest, it's not a short film. It's 2 hours long.
No. And it's it's a very, very difficult thing to adapt somebody's book, an existing piece of literature. It's really, really difficult.
That's why I get so amazed by Lord of the Rings, Jackson's Lord of the Rings all the time, because it's such a good job. Or anybody who manages to do a half decent job of Dune, because I would say Dune in its novel form is unfilmable.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I think it's something that Toxic had said that, for all intents and purposes, looking at the book, it is unfilmable. And I think it was one of those books that was considered to be unfilmable.
Yeah, it shows someone must have had a really good fucking mind for finding out, okay, how can we condense this now into a couple of hours? What can we lose that won't take away any context of what these characters.
That's what all great adaptations do. It's even more impressive when they do it well. Another one that I'll point you to is something like Watchmen. which
Yeah.
as a graphic
Yeah.
novel, you read it and you're like, there's no fucking way you can make a film. Even though the graphic novel is presented in a visual format, the themes and the plot behind it, like, there's no way you can make a film of this.
Yeah, because there's
But I
so
think
much going on.
Alan Moore.
before, I mean,
Alan Moore
yeah.
was really disappointed with that, wasn't he? Alan Moore had said that he
Yeah, he
absolutely
was.
hates
Yeah,
it.
he does
Yeah,
hate
It
it.
seems to be
Then he is a
disappointed
very
with his
grumpy man.
adaptation, so.
I don't think Alan Moore's happy with anything.
No, I was going to say he's a really grumpy man, so I
Yeah,
kind of
he's a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
curmudgeon.
actually
I
think
like
it's
his
probably one
stuff.
of
I
the
just think
actually
he's a bit
best
of a
films.
miserable git who needs to fucking lighten up a bit. That's all. Though,
Yeah,
but-
pretty much. You know, I think, as you say, he's not happy with pretty much anything that
Yeah.
happens. It's one of those things that
It's a shame
happens
because
quite a
V
lot.
Vendetta is very good. I like
V Vendetta is very good. Yeah.
Ding.
Don't say it's Hugo Weaving.
Sorry.
Don't say it's Hugo Weaving.
Sorry.
Fuck's sake.
No, that's one. That's one that I worked on. Well, yes. So, yeah.
Good film.
Yeah, and I wonder
Fucking
what
good
the
film.
scene is as well. Is it sort of mirroring that the younger guys working in the department don't seem to be taking the job as seriously as he is?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe. I think it's more. This is something the sheriff can do something about. This is something that he can. It's like when we had a bunch of soldiers unaliving themselves in the military around this time. So the excuse what they started doing was cracking down on our driver's licenses and doing more vehicle inspections, because that's something they could actually do as opposed to fix the problem. So this is something he can focus his mind and his efforts on. Is this guy not binding down his stuff? Plus, it's the fact that he's pulling bodies out of that fracas. So it's a reminder of it. It's like, you're not doing this properly. So and he's getting at him like, why isn't this in a van? The van won't drive, over the range. That's why they had to take the horses in. So he didn't like strap down the bodies properly, and that's something that Bell can kind of piss and moan about a little bit and have some authority, and just kind of, like doing busy work when you're stressed out. Your wife's cheating on you, so you can work on your carburetor. Something like that.
because he's already up against a guy that's making him feel more vulnerable than he should, especially in a job where he can't afford to be vulnerable.
No.
Yeah, so now we're in the hospital where Moss is recovering, and this is where Wells shows up, and it's like, yeah, you really got yourself in a bit of a pickle here, didn't you?
That's funny.
And it shows as well that Wells is just as smart as Shigoro as well, and
yeah.
And this is where he's telling him what Shigoro is all about, because he hasn't really gotten a chance to know who Anton is at the moment. All he's done is try and survive him, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, he's in between Anton and Moss, isn't he? And what colour is he wearing? Go back one.
Yeah, well, Anton's more like wearing this dark blue, isn't he?
That's
and
what I'm saying. Go back one scene. Go back one
let's have a
screen.
look. Yeah, he's wearing a. Is it grey suit? Let's have a look. Yeah,
He's wearing grey.
Yeah.
I like it. I like where your head's at. I like it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be coincidence, but I like to think that when you have filmmakers like this, nothing is coincidence.
No, I buy it. I buy it 100%.
You're right.
Yeah, I wonder if the flowers have some kind of significance to this scene as well. Like, they pick these flowers because it symbolises something, and I'd love to hear more thoughts on that. If it's true,
I don't know.
Lilies for something. Lilies symbolise something. I think they're lilies.
Lilies are death. They symbolise death.
So again, you've got that theme of death, fate, predetermination.
Yeah.
Smart guys, those Coen brothers.
That's just changed as well because he's been really fucking keeping it close to his chest as well. He's been very restrained against him, very reserved. But now Wells mentions Odessa, and he's like, "Why did you go to Odessa?" He's like, "To kill your wife, because it's not about the money. He could probably kill you just for inconveniencing him."
Yeah,
he lets him know that he has this moral code, and he's not just another killer who's out for the money. He's something much worse. Yeah, and he probably will kill you and your wife out of some kind of moral obligation.
I always like the trope of the hype man, the guy, the Colonel Trapman trope, where he comes in to tell you about the guy that's not on the thing, that's not on the scene right now. It's like, This guy, this is how dangerous this guy is. You know, you faced him and you're still alive. You're one of very few people in the world that's ever even seen his face and you're still alive, much less gone toe to toe with him. So, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so now Bella's got in contact with Moss's wife, and he's hoping that she can maybe find out where he is, where he's going, and he could get there and maybe protect him from before Anton Chigurh does. And it's obviously it's not gone nowhere because she has no idea as well. Because Moss has done the smart thing, because the less she knows, the better.
Mhm.
Then he comes into this little monologue where he talks about this fucking bull that was thrashing around, and they had to try and take it down with the little pneumatic air gun that Anton Chigurh uses as well. And she's kind of like, why are you telling me this? And he's like, I don't know, my mind wanders. So yeah, maybe he's losing his edge a little bit as well with the job. Plus, he's also reminiscing about better days in the past, or what was better days that he considers.
In
Yeah.
comparison.
It
Yeah.
reminds me a little bit of a scene out of The Highwaymen, which oddly enough had Woody Harrelson in it as well, where they're talking about they used to be sort of cowboy rangers, Texas Rangers, and they're hired to bring in or take out Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep.
And they're talking about how things were different back in the day. You know, they'd go out on horses and a posse. They didn't have machine guns. They didn't have cars. And it's that same kind of theme here, I think, a little bit, where he's reminiscing about the old days and how different it was, and how now is just something that he can't quite wrap his head around, especially this kind of wanton violence that happens.
Yeah, because you can really see it's getting to him as well. It's like, because it is basically.
It's weird. It's like he's as well. I like to think that the title comes from No Country for Old Men. He is the old man, and he's just realizing.
His kind is becoming are on the verge of extinction now. We need
pretty much. Yeah,
we need a new breed of law enforcement to tackle the new breed of criminality that's out of there.
The old ways of doing things no longer work, which is why in The Highwaymen they have to adapt. Kevin Costner has to go out and buy proper machine guns and stuff like that they've never used before. There's a scene where
it's funny when I
a little bit as well. I think the Dark Knight at the beginning where the Joker guns down William Fichtner and is like, all the criminals used to have honor and respect, but what do you believe in? And he's like, and Joker just says, I believe what doesn't kill you makes you stranger. And it almost has a little bit of theme like that as well. Like things are going to get worse before they get better.
That's another film that we could rip apart for hours on end, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's fucking good.
That transcends superhero films, in my opinion.
Even though Dark Knight does kind of spell it out a bit more, No Country for Old Men does not do that though. That lets you come to your own conclusions.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a more subtle, more adult, and slightly more abstract film, I think.
Yeah, Wells knows where the money is, but that's not going to fucking matter now. Yeah, that's not going to matter now because Anton Chigurh.
I'm so surprised as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't really. It doesn't do a big reveal when he shows up behind. It just stays on there like
casually.
The normal guy walking behind him until he turns around.
Walks right up behind him.
Too fucking cocky by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Wells is right. He's desperately trying to talk him out of this, but
and I think this might be why Anton shoots him.
No, he's going to kill him anyway.
He doesn't respect him.
Well, there's that, but he
doesn't even offer him the coin toss or anything, because obviously at this point Wells is just like pleading. He's trying to make bargains. He's like, "Oh, I know what this is."
Yeah. So he doesn't respect anyone who pleads when they should know that their number is up.
Yeah. If the rule that you followed led you to this, of what use was that rule?
Yeah. Plus, Wells should not. Already knows that his number is up. He knows Anton Chigurh, but it's like there's still a part of him desperately trying to find a way out of this to survive this. But nah.
There's a great line.
There's
a great line in the book where Anton is kind of just fucking with him and just says, "I know what you're doing right now." And Wells says, "What am I doing?" He goes, "You keep looking at me in the eye, thinking that you won't look away, but sooner or later you will." and that's when he realizes that he's gonna look away and he's gonna die, and he's just trying to make it to midnight, and he doesn't even make it. He doesn't even get that close.
And it is a lot longer in the book as well, their exchange. And the amount of times there Wells says, you go to heel. It's like 5 fucking times he says that as well. He could play a drinking game for that little chapter.
Yeah.
But they cut it down there pretty quickly, and then the phone goes off. And I love that line as well. He gives him more insight into what is the situation is, and what fucking Wells says is like, do you know how insane you sound? And he's like, what the nature of the conversation is like, I'm talking about the nature of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's already explained, like, he knows that he's going to get the fucking money whether Moss is alive or dead. But he's already made his mind up. Moss is dead anyway, whether he gives him the money or not.
Yeah, no, he believes Wells. He knows Wells knows where the money is, but it doesn't matter because if he were to give Wells a chance and let's go retrieve the money or something like that, that's giving Wells an opportunity. Wells is a retired lieutenant colonel in special forces, so he could possibly turn the tides. But there's no need to do that because he knows that if he just keeps on Moss the way he's going to be on Moss, that Moss will go get the money for him and bring it back to him because he doesn't want his wife to get killed. So that's his logic there. That's
like base as well. It's
yeah,
like, all right, you bring me the money, I kill you, your wife will be okay. You don't bring me the money, I kill you anyway. Get the money and kill your wife.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like his own fucked up way of justifying his the killings.
Yeah,
that's what he does. He justifies his violent nature. Yeah, and Moss has obviously tried to take Wells upon his offer, but it's too late. He's dead. So yeah, you better fucking like I said earlier, bring me the money. You die, your wife will be okay. You don't. Yeah, well, you've just got your wife killed.
Yep, she's accountable.
Yep. And he goes through with it because if nothing else, he's a man of his word.
Yep. All of these news stories that he tells the deputy here, these are real things that actually really happened. So
yeah, it's like really fucked up stuff, but it always had this little thing that pops up that somehow makes the story funnier than it should. Like
right, little dark humor to kind of lighten what we just watched and what we are watching. You know.
Yeah, no, like the fucking killed and tortured these innocent people, and they got away with it for a long time. But then someone ran out with like a fucking collar on his neck. A collar on his neck, and it's like, how can you not laugh at that for something that's so fucked up and dark?
Yeah.
Well, it's drawing attention to the absurdity of real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you've got all this stuff going on, and that's real life, but at the same time, the real life can be absolutely absurd. You know, you can just get the craziest shit happen, the most surreal and inane shit as well. You know, just especially, obviously, this is back in the 80s, but especially now, where everything is put on the screen in front of you, no matter how fucking stupid it is. Like you're scrolling through Facebook one day, and then suddenly there's a video of somebody cooking an egg, and apparently that's worth watching. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So you know. Back in the 80s, I suppose, you know.
Can you send me the link to that, please?
I may well have fucking blocked it. Honestly, when I go through Facebook, if I'm scrolling up and down Facebook, if I see anything that's doing any fucking fake videos, AI bullshit or anything like that, I just block them. I'm just like, eventually I'll teach the fucking algorithm lesson. I can show them those you want to see, you know. So pissing me off so much. So I was fucking my block list is about 3 people. Oh mate, I tell you what, I hate social media. Ironically, seeing as one of the fucking
aren't you a YouTuber on social media?
But I do. I genuinely, I don't think humanity was ready for social media. I used to
nobody tell them what YouTube is for. Nobody tell them.
Yeah. No, the inanity of it, everything, and the way it's made everybody so fucking narcissistic, I think it's caused massive.
Yeah, no, like, it's all self now. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're all a little bit narcissistic. I mean, why the fuck are we on YouTube anyway? It's like,
well, I like to think that YouTube at least provides content. So YouTube, you can look up a documentary, or you can look up somebody doing a video breakdown like this, and you might actually learn something. What the fuck are you learning from watching somebody do some stupid dance on TikTok? Apart from the majority of the planet is a bunch of fucking cunts. I'll shut up now and start drinking.
Yeah. All right.
Well said.
Randall's laughing at it.
Well
Look at him.
said.
He's laughing at it.
I want to party with him. I like him. He's good.
I need to lie down now.
I like how he sort of like stops himself as well. Like he might think he's got a lamb, but he's like, it's okay, I'll laugh because what else you got on it though? I mean, because they're leading a fucked up life. They're dealing with scumbags and a lot of sick bastards as well. And you gotta have some kind of sense of humor to get you through. Otherwise, it'll just drive you mad.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like even in a small town as a sheriff, you're gonna have seen stuff. You know, you're gonna have, especially when you're as old as he is, you're gonna have seen some things that you'd rather not dwell upon.
Oh yeah, I mean, have you ever seen that Sean Connery film, The Offense?
No.
Oh, watch that. That's to me. That's what happens if you don't try and get through a harsh job without this is what happens when you work a very harsh job without a sense of humor. Because Jesus Christ, mate, Sean Connery is at his darkest as this traumatized cop trying to hunt for this sex offender who's abusing young girls. It's it's good though, but really.
What's it called? The Offense.
The Offense.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, do check it out. Do check it out, man. It's,
1973. Jesus.
Yeah. And this is very funny as well. It's like you got this tall buff guy as well, and he's trying to get back into America, and it's like you gave me I ask you sensible questions, you gave me sensible answers, and I decide if you want to come to America. But I like the fact that as soon as he reveals it, that he was in the army, he starts to have a bit of leeway with him, and he's like, he says, okay.
Is he wearing a fucking hospital gown?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's if anybody's ever considering doing stolen valor, pretending you're in the military, anyone who's been in the military for more than a minute, we can ask a couple questions. We're gonna know instantly. It's no point. There's no point in doing it. You're not gonna sneak anything by us. There's too much really hyper specific things that you can ask. So, like what outfit, what years, and he tells him, and he's like, all right, you're a veteran. Get this man some clothes and get him across the border. So
yeah. Plus, even in the fucking gear he's wearing, I'd be like, yeah, you sound pretty fucking accurate. He's
I do wish they hadn't stricken the line that he says right as he leaves, and he says, "Do you have a wife?" And he says, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Did y'all have a fight?" And he says, "Sir." And he's like, "Did y'all have a fight?" And he said, "Yeah, kinda." And he's like, "You need to tell her you're sorry, even if you're not, because that's what you're supposed to do, because you're a husband." And he's like, "Yes, sir. That's what I'll do."
Oh, but yeah, obviously he's got to get some more clothes now and then. Yeah, this guy does do a nice bit of sarcasm. He's like, you ever had a guy coming here with barely any clothes on? I was like, no, it's unusual.
No, sir, it's unusual.
He's got the money back, and obviously he's trying to tell her what's going on. He's going to try and end this thing once and for all, but he's telling her to wait for him at a hotel, which will be the last thing he ever does for her.
Yeah,
that last call he does. Yeah, and this is where Anton just fucking takes down Stephen Root here. Is like, yeah, fucking shoots him in the throat.
This is actually kind of personal to him.
Mm.
It's one of the only moments where.
Well, he was willing to forgive the first set of whatever mercs that they spent earlier. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to pop these guys. Hopefully the boss will get the message. I got the job. They can fuck off, and now I'm on top of it. But then when he sent Wells, an experienced operator, after him specifically, one especially that he knows from previous jobs, he's like, all right, now you've fucked with my mission enough. I'm not no more of this. You're going down. You're in my way too much, so I'm going to shut you up.
Yeah, cause it's like a trust thing as well. You haven't trusted me to do the job by myself, have you? You've put too much. You don't have enough faith in me. I'm the right tool for it, but you don't think I am. Yes, and it's kind of like an integrity thing as well with him.
It is, because he's putting it out there that Sugar's incompetent. He's not up to pulling off the job.
Yeah,
that he needs to bring these other guys in.
Yeah, very good point.
So
it's a matter of honor, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going to take offense to that as well, though.
Yeah,
especially in his psychotic state.
Yeah, and it's a horrible death as well. He just shoots him in the throat. The guy's like fucking suffocating on his own
Yeah.
blood. Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, I'm sure he's had better days, but fucking-
But there's so many great scenes in this. Like, there's another great scene as well in the film for getting into Chigo's head. You know.
Yeah, and this poor fucking guy's like, yeah, I didn't see you. I see nothing. Ah.
But again, he gives him a try. You know, he's got nothing against him. He's got no reason. So
Yeah, and this is where we're meeting the mother as well. She's going to El Paso because they have to let her lost. And,
Boy, is she a piece of work, this mom.
yeah,
yeah. Thanks, Mum.
yeah, and this is where she's reached out to Belle as well about, you know, the meeting that's going on as well, and hopefully it could lead to Moss being helped out of this situation, but we know it's not going to end that way. Yeah, this guy as well. This is very funny. It's like, can remove these chicken, take the chicken crates out, please. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, and I don't know if he killed the guy or not, but he definitely took his fucking truck.
Bro, he killed that guy.
Yeah,
there's no question at all.
So they changed this a little bit from the book. I don't know how I feel about it. I could take it either way. So instead of just a random cougar living off disability, hanging out at a motel, woman of ill repute, flirting with him, instead of that, in the book, he picks up a teenage runaway, which again, more creepy shit.
Yeah. But was this kind of like a thing that was going on a bit more back then, or
maybe it's going on now? I don't know, but she really throws her cat at him multiple times.
I can
He says a
smell
line
it through the screen.
Yeah, he says something that I really, really like when she tries to get him to come up to her hotel room, and she's like, "You sure you ain't changed your mind?" And he's like, "About what?" And she's like, "You know what?" He goes, "Nope, I don't change my mind. I like to get it right the first time." So, yeah, that's bad. Like that whole thing is. I'm glad they changed it to this. Really, I like this better because
he's still a very likable guy. Obviously, still loves his wife, and he is worried about the danger that he's put her in as well. But,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, he is the hero of the film. It's just
no, he's not.
To happen. It's just like
we're meant to believe he's the protagonist of the film. The protagonist of the film is Tom Bell. He's the actual protagonist. He just loses. He's not the actual hero of the story. Moss is more a side character or a plot device.
I guess, but he's the more active in the film. Like, I feel like I feel like he actually does.
There's more focus on Moss, but I do agree that it is Bell, isn't it? It's
Bell's very passive, very passive in the film.
Moss is just
like,
more
things
of a
happen
catalyst
to him, but he doesn't actually do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like Moss is like.
I mean, he's kind of like the personification of the MacGuffin, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean,
it's like a walking MacGuffin.
Let's face it. I mean, the film is very unorthodox in many ways. It doesn't even really have a 3-act structure.
It doesn't.
In all honesty,
it doesn't.
And it's very Coen Brothers. So I guess the roles of antagonist protagonist can be played about a little bit. I suppose. Yeah. Get that. For sure. It is very unconventional.
It is very anticlimactic as well because you don't really see him die, do you? He just fades to black and cuts to this, cuts to later. It's not even
absolutely.
And it's not even Anton Chigurh that does it. It's just some fucking looters, some gangbangers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cartel guys.
It's the cartel,
right. Yeah, some more hired guns, and it's like, fuck, he's really dead.
It just gets unlucky. It's fate. As I say, it's fate. Fate is a massive theme in this film, and
So now Anton Chigurh's lost out as well because he can't get the money that he was hired to get. But he still has things to finish. Like Moss didn't come through on the deal, so now
he has to kill
the wife. He has to finish the job there.
I like this next scene because this is like the power of show don't tell.
That was so good.
This is like, go back one, Luke. Just the bit
With
where
the
he
hat,
ta-
yeah.
the bit where he takes his hat off tells you everything that girl needs
Yeah.
to know about what the situation is.
Yeah,
It's like
that's like the cliche,
body
isn't it? That
language,
someone
yeah,
dies, you take the hat off.
And this is
connotations,
what I say, like,
denotations,
Bell's been really
semiotics, whatever you want to
passive
call it.
in the film because obviously he was trying to prevent this situation, and there's a sense of inevitability, which is quite funny when you're talking about Josh Brolin, who played Thanos. But
Yeah, did you think he saw this as a way to even though he felt outmatched, he could still probably try and prevent this happening, but now that he see that he's failed, this is where he starts to think maybe there's no way I can ever win again. This is getting too much. Maybe I should quit.
I think so. I think he knows from experience what's likely to happen, but he thinks he can make a difference. And it's the fact that he couldn't make a difference where he decides, look, just isn't for me. Because what happens. Because as I say, Sugar is a force of nature. You can't stop the cartels. They're always going to find a way. And I kind of feel like it's ground him down. I don't know if there's anything in the book about that.
Yes. Well, it's more his thing is like now he failed to protect his platoon in the war, and then now he has failed. His one redemption was if I stay on the job long enough, I'll get another mission. I'll get a mission that will redeem me. And he stayed on too long, where he was no longer effective in that way, as effective as he is, but he's not as effective. He's like, if I can protect Moss and his wife, then I can make up for what I did wrong before, but he doesn't, and he fails.
But he's too passive in the film, as you say. He's stuck behind his desk doing stuff. He's not actively going out there. He doesn't try and like find Moss at any point and bring him in or anything like that, you know. So it's a good character, but as I say, he's really passive in the film, and I kind of feel that's why he's sort of especially this scene. This is another good scene.
Yeah, when he finally gets to look at the guy he failed to save as well.
He failed to save, exactly, yeah.
And I think these little interactions with this other sheriff as well is kind of influencing his decision to quit even more, because he's feeling the same as well. He's like, what the fuck is happening? The criminals, is it me, or has the criminal man gotten worse?
Yeah, well, this is what he's saying. You know, it's not the way it used to be. And the crazy thing is that although Sugar's got some sense of honor, like I imagine that the Mexican cartel don't have any honor. You know, because
I always see that Sugar is like hints of much worse to come. Like he's not even the worst thing that at the moment, but he's
a sign of things to come, isn't he? He's
the upcoming storm.
In this film, he is the personification of death, which is an inevitability and tied into fate. So I guess he just knows that this is the way things are going to go, and that he's aged out essentially.
And this is like this is probably the first time where he's really starting to feel his age as well now with this all, because society is fucking changing. This is like the late 1970s, and he mentioned kids running around with green hair and bones in their noses. Yeah, this is the punk era. Punk is still new, and people are like, what the fuck do these people look like? It's everything's becoming more chaotic now. And it is about fucking losing your way in the world as age goes by, especially in a world where you're having to deal with fucking scumbags all the time. And he does try to go back to the scene of the crime, and Anton's. I think I remember Anton was in there. I can't remember now, but now he's gone.
Score another one for the book here, because the. Oh, are we not there? Okay, I'll shut up for a second. I'll wait till you're there.
No, that's all right. I can't remember if in the book he was in the room and hidden, but
he was in the room. He did get the money. Bell did suss it out because he saw the coins used as makeshift, pliers to get the or screwdriver thing to get the bolts open. So he saw the bolts down there in the quarter or the dime or whatever he used to unscrew it. He pulls back after entering the room, goes into his car, and calls in the cavalry. Again, backing off when he should have pressed forward. When he should have. Now, that pressing forward might have meant his death. And early his first opening monologue, he says, you got to be willing to die just to do this job. But to press forward you'd put your chips forward and put your soul at hazard because you'd have to become what it is that you're going after. Very, very Nietzsche, very nihilistic kind of way of thinking with that. So he
like to take on monsters, you have to be a monster yourself.
Right. So he pulls back to the parking lot, gets in his cruiser, calls in the cavalry. They go in with SWAT and everything like that, and by then he's gone. So again, score 1 for the book because it's not explained here. And what he's doing right now, Chigurh he knows Chigurh's MO is to go into a place because the other sheriff had even said it. If you coughing or sneezing, you'll miss it. He says, what kind of criminal goes into a place that he's already committed a crime and comes back to it? And that's exactly what Chigurh is going to do. Chigurh wants to wait till nightfall and come and grab the satchel. Bell knows this, and then he's going to come back too. The only difference is instead of going after him, like, guns drawn, he waits in the parking lot and calls in the cavalry, and that's how he slips. He slips out that way.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
it's almost like
it's
it's
in the
kind
film,
of
wouldn't it?
it's almost like there's kind of a fear that the Chigurh character is perhaps he sees him as the Grim Reaper if he gets too close to the Grim Reaper. This is and he is a kind of a Grim Reaper character, isn't he? I mean, wherever he goes, death does follow.
He is death personified in this. He wears black. He goes around killing more or less indiscriminately and passionately. He is the personification of death.
Plus, this is where this is his uncle as well, and this he sees that his uncle probably has gone through the same things he has done as well. And
I love this scene. God, this may be my favorite scene in the film. Really, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah, because he's a guy who's seen it all as well, and it's fucking worn him down.
Well, it puts the entire story, both book and movie, into context for you. All of this stuff, all of this waffling back and forth. Am I too old for this job? Are the criminals becoming too sophisticated for us? Is there even any point into this? This story that the uncle tells them basically maps out the other law enforcement uncle when the indigenous people came up to him and for whatever reason shot him in his own yard, and he tells him, hey, it's always been this way. There's never been a good time. You're like you said, Luke, he's got rose-colored glasses on. He's remembering it as better than it once was. It wasn't. It's always been this way. Yeah. It's never going to get any easier. So and he says, you thinking that it is that's just vanity. It's not waiting on you to grow some balls. It's always going to be hard. You're going to lose more often than you're going to win.
And again,
it's like you've done all you can.
His age. It's like his age is actually is against him. Hence, I guess the title "No Country for Old Men."
Yeah, because I think even if he was in his prime, I think Anton Chigurh would have been too much for him as well because he's just not. He
was in his prime when he was in the war and he backed down. You either have it or you don't. You either go all the way or you don't. There's no, the difference between a hero and a coward is nothing. They're exactly the same. The only difference is in what they do and what they don't do. A hero will get up and he'll go after it, even though he's afraid, and a coward will not. And at the end of the day, Bell is a coward. As cool a character as he is, as smart as he is, as clever as he is, at the end of the day, he's just a coward. He never really had it for the job. Him thinking that he did at one point is just vanity. Him thinking that there are ways to fix it. I love every bit of dialogue. I don't know the actor's name here. He's Barry Corbin. Thank you, Mr. E. Thank you. Barry Corbin, all of his dialogue is solid gold here, and he delivers it so well, from the teasing of him saying, your wife is writing me, keeping me up on the family business, and the fact that, if the guy that shot me and put me in a wheelchair got released, I wouldn't go after him because there'd be no point. You can't get back what you've lost. All you got to do is put a tourniquet on it, and because everything else is just going out the back door while you're looking in the front door, that kind of thing. So all of it's just great. It's just a great scene, and the sad thing is, I think Bell knows that he's telling the truth, and I think he just can't accept it. So
yeah, because he does seem like he he like you said, he's a coward, but he wants to be a hero, and he's seen this job as a way he can regain some pride. But it turns out he's in over his head. He's always been over his head, and it's this event that's really hit it home for him.
Mhm.
He even says, if I was hoping that when I get older, God would show me some kind of sign, but now it's looking like God isn't telling him fuck all. It's he's not going to give him anything. He's
That's
just as lost as ever.
right. That's what he thinks. But he did ask God to step into his life, and God did answer him, but God said no. God refused.
Yeah, and it really is very thought provoking as well. What these two go on about, these two guys reflecting on what they've tried to do. It's like there was all on this never ending mission to save the world, not realizing that the world is beyond saving, maybe.
Right.
And yeah, and you do kind of feel sorry for this guy as well, because he doesn't look like he can look after himself properly. His hair's not cut right. There's marks on it and everything. His pots haven't been cleaned in a while. So
yeah. I love the how many of them cats you got? And he's like,
yeah,
well, it means what you mean by got. Some of them adopted, and some of them is just outlaws.
yeah, he's probably kept him around because they're the only things that are keeping him fucking company or sane or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, good actor though, buddy. You really see the pain of the life he's been through as well.
Yeah.
Especially,
He was the general in War Games.
oh man, I have to watch that
right,
again.
okay.
I have to watch that again. That's a good film. That's a really good film.
It seems a bit quaint these days, War Games, but yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah, he's talking about the Navajos as well, gunning down his relative from fucking years ago, 1909, I think it was.
Yeah, early 1900s, and then they quick cut to the scene of the funeral of I'm assuming her mother, but it could be Moss. I don't know. I don't know if it's Moss's funeral or her mother's.
Yeah,
funeral.
it's the mother, because she even says that. Later that she just buried the mum. So some time has passed as well. Some times have passed. It's like, yeah, but no matter how long you wait for it to go away, it's gonna pop up. It's gonna pop right back into your life.
Well, he gave his word.
You can't outrun death.
Yeah. And it's just so creepy as well. She knows something's up. She sees the windows open, and then she spots him just sitting in that chair, just waiting.
Yeah.
He's not tried to entertain himself. He's not been watching his TikTok videos. Yeah, it's like, no, he's just waiting, just sitting there.
Yep. Just
very patient.
Death sitting in the corner, waiting for her to arrive.
I know, and just the way that is totally in shade as well. No light is shining on his face. Oh god, that's so scary. That's
in
so
fact, pretty much most of the film, he's sitting in the shadows most of the time.
Yeah, they kind of did that as well with Christopher Walken in At Close Range, where whenever he's sat in his little fucking club with his friends, you know, you see a lot of the times his face is away from the window where the light shines out. And God, it's such a fucking creepy scene, and honestly, you do feel scared for her.
Yeah, it's very, very tense again. And in the book, she calls it, doesn't she? And she gets it wrong.
No, she's sort of begging for him. She's not really so much begging for him. It's like she's just trying to convince him not to do this, and that's it. Like she's trying to sort of like reach into whatever humanity he may have or have not.
But that's not how fate and predestination works.
Exactly, and
certainly not how death works.
But you can sort of see. I think in a way he does kind of have a bit of respect for her, so that's why he gives her this chance to call it with the coin. But
I theorize that there is some sort of fate or magic or whatever you want to call it with this, because she sort of infuriates him by not calling the coin and not playing into it and trying to say, you know, the coin ain't got no say. It's just you. And I think that
rattles him a bit as well, because he's kind of shaking his whole belief on his very way of life.
And you can make an argument that what happened subsequent to this is because she shook him off of his path. Remember his whole thing. If the rule that you follow brings you here, what use is the rule? He believes the rule that he follows is perfectly acceptable and natural. And that's why he always comes out on top. And who's to say that he's wrong? But I think he breaks the rule here because she doesn't call it and he kills her anyway. And then what happens next?
Yeah.
If you pay close attention, he had the green light. The other person ran the
Yeah.
red light. So
Yeah, again, fate.
Yeah, and it was a good thing they left this out in the film. In the book, she does end up calling it. And
Yes, I say in book she
No.
called. I read. I haven't read the book, but I read that she called it and got it wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it flat out says he shoots her in the face.
Oh,
yeah, and yeah, Mr. Eight. Yeah, I knew he fucking killed her the moment.
yeah,
he left
yeah. No,
the house
I
to
knew
get
he
to
killed her.
boats. Yeah, right. If you're here to kill someone, and you leave the house and you're checking your boats, yeah, you got fucking blood on your boats. I mean, there's no other reason. And yeah, but I like the fact that you never see it as well. You just you just come straight to that conclusion. Yeah, I liked her in Trainspotting as well. She was very funny in that. And I think, like you said, she kind of shakes him off his game a little bit because, yeah, that fucking crash happened. And
The look on poor Ewan McGregor's face when he sees her in a school uniform.
oh yeah, fucking oh god, I know. Yeah, so he's so he's kind of a bit more vulnerable here. He's badly injured as well. He's just allowed a fucking car to run into him because of what just happened earlier.
I mean, you could make an argument that he was following the traffic laws. He was driving safely, quietly away. This guy, and then it's revealed that the guy's a drunk driver, ran through the red and hit him. You could argue that the divine fate just kind of swept in and said, you know what, motherfucker, we've had enough of your shit. And just because this is I don't know, it's never explicitly said, but I without really good medical attention, you'd probably die from this.
Yeah, I thought when he when he staggered away, I thought that could well kill him. Could have some kind of internal bleeding and stuff you wouldn't know about. So no, I kind of figured it as this being his fate and
comeuppance, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like a comeuppance. But yeah, I just kind of, with all the themes of fate and destiny in the film, I just kind of saw this as being his.
So he didn't get away with it because we see him in these top 10 lists where the villains get away with it. So yeah, he probably did die. Then he probably did die.
I got the feeling that he would probably die.
But in movies, they never die from this thing, don't they? They never die in movies, do they, from this kind of thing? They always find a way to be magically fucking healed with some bullshit.
Well, as the kid says, hey, mister, your bone's sticking out of your fucking arm, man.
Yeah. That's definitely our fucking kid with that when they see that shit as well.
Nah, it'll be fine.
This is how you can tell it's the 80s because the kid's all in good shape. He's like a 12-year-old that's in good shape.
Oh yeah. He's on fucking roids already.
Yeah, he's not
outside on a bike.
Yeah, outside on a bike. Fucking roids from the fucking cocaine cabinet.
The kid was doing a bunch of push-ups
with the shit
right before the scene.
Yeah, I think Greed kind of plays into this a little bit as well, like especially with the cartel and Moss, and then you get the kids arguing over, hey, some of that money's for me, It's like, you still got your shirt. Yeah, so the kid's trying to haggle his way into fucking getting a cut of the money, even though he didn't do fuck all.
Yeah.
And yeah, we come to a very good last provocative scene that always had people questioning, what is his old dream all about? It's and I would like to hear other thoughts on this as well, because I was kind of puzzled by it as well. Is it because
he's accepting the inevitability that he's got fewer summers left ahead of him than he's left behind?
Yeah,
but he was still wanting to make it out of this film.
Yeah, it's very existentialism as well, because he talks about how he's older than his dad ever was as well, and that his dad would always be there for him. It's like, listen, don't ever start feeling guilty about the life you led. Even you may not have done much, but you did all you could. It's maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I'm kind of getting from it a little bit, because
it's something that every man or every person has to grapple with at some point is your own mortality.
Well, every man, women don't have accountability. They don't know what that is.
I just wanted to not get cancelled or not get Luke cancelled.
Yeah, what's that line in that as good as it gets? It's like, how do you write women so good? It's like, I picture him, he's a man, and I take away all logic and accountability. But yeah, it's very thought provoking, and Tommy Lee Jones does it really well. It's very somber, and then it just ends like that. It's
Yeah, it's perfect for this. I mean, when you consider he got
True.
nearly half the budget to himself, he needs to earn that money.
Yeah, this speech he gives here at the end, this monologue it's word for word verbatim out of the book. It's and it ends exactly the same way. And then I woke up.
Yeah, and it does end like that as well. It's a good way to fucking end, a very good, quiet way, reflective way to end, especially after so much havoc and ugliness and violence as well. It's
So,
but there was there was a lot of more stuff that happened after Anton had left, especially with coming across the guy who actually, the main guy who hired him. But there was also a thing where Bell was talking about coming across this Puerto Rican kid who killed someone, and when he tried to talk to him, the kid was very happy about, who had no guilt about what he did. And then he talks about, I dragged that kid and I out of the courthouse and I shot him right then and there. And I was thinking, did Bell imagine doing that because of how infuriated he was with this kid, or did he actually do it? But I think he imagined it anyway. He was thinking it.
Yeah.
Well, that was the kid that he's one of the cartel hitters that got tracked down, that got away in the car, that killed.
Yeah,
that actually killed,
that's it. Yeah, it's a bit. I kind of got confused there for a moment. So yeah. So what did he imagine killing that kid? Or
I think, you know what? Read it again. Tell me what you think, or listen to it
I need
again.
to. I know. I really need to go through it again, because
there's a lot of stuff that's extremely subjective. I got an A on my paper for my theory. There's been endless theories. What does the dream mean? What does the ending mean? My thoughts is, as he speaks of the dream, the fire in the horn, as his father is taking it. The fire is representative of justice and vigilance, of taking, carrying the fight to protect and to be a soldier, a protector forward. And he's meeting his son to say, hey, you got to take this, take it forward. It doesn't matter if it kills you. It doesn't matter if it burns you because it's too hot. You have to pick it up and take it. And Bell refusing to take it. Then there's the second dream, or the first dream rather, interposed between it, where he's talking about, he's lit the fire and they're sitting around it and they're enjoying it, and that's the possibility of just sitting back and enjoying the rest of life, being a regular person. But at the end of the day, as we've established, Bell he's a liar, he's a hypocrite, and that's a very hard thing to face. It's a thing that men have to face in your life. What has my life meant? What did I do? Was I a good father? Was I better than my own father? If I was a soldier, was I a good one? If I was a policeman, was I a good one? Or was I really a coward just doing the minimum because I was scared to cash it all in? What was I, kind to the people that loved me? Did I cheat, and did I lie, and did I betray? So you have to come to terms with that. It's not an easy thing to come to terms with. Bell himself,
no one wants to admit that they're a fucking scared coward or anything like that. We all want to be the heroes, but life isn't always like that, though, sadly.
Well, one of the things that's removed from when he has the talk with his uncle, he does admit finally what really happened in the war, and his uncle tries to console him and say, listen, you made a mistake. You can still make it right. Just because you didn't make it right with this thing doesn't mean that you can't make it right. And it doesn't mean that your life has been worthless. But because Bell is just so poisoned by the idea that he is, in fact, a phony and a coward, that's why he retires early, or takes the earlier retirement than he could have stayed on for. And, he's at his ends. He's basically older than his father was when his father died. His father died in action. The other uncle died in action. That uncle, it was crippled in action, and Bell could still perform. He could still do it, but he doesn't want to because he's scared, because he's a coward.
Yes, that's not a fucking usual thing to see with your heroes as well. To know because that's one of the great things about this fucking film. He's not your typical hero. He's
no, as I say,
he's a scared man. He's just a scared
very
everyman.
passive, very, very passive for a hero.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be as well, because they sort of
he
build
wasn't
him
the
up.
one I was rooting for, but that way I was rooting for Moss.
The only other thing that I can think of that even comes close to it, but in the opposite way, is Nightcrawler, where our only protagonist is this sociopathic
Yeah,
murderer.
that's a mad
And
film.
like
That
this
is.
Oh, yeah.
this is the guy that we're rooting for the whole
Yeah.
time. Like how am I? There's no one else that
Yeah,
I can.
there is no one else. Yeah,
Redeemable either. I mean, you're kind of stuck with this really horrible fucking guy.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's your thing, because he plays it so well that he's kind of a reflection on the narcissism of today. You know, people looking to fucking screw anybody for their own personal gain, no matter who suffers for it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's why Nightcrawler is so good, and that's why Jake Gyllenhaal is so fucking great in that role, because he plays it so realistically.
yeah.
But there is a lot of nihilism in this film, though. This is not a film. Do not expect a happy ending with this at all. This is the dark nature of humanity. This is
I'm shocked that this
Yeah.
movie was made in the early aughts. If this had come out in the 70s, I'd have been like, oh, of course, yeah, I remember. No
Oh
Country
yeah, the
for Old Men.
70s were
Yeah.
fucking
My
nihilistic as hell.
dad
It was
showed me.
always like
Yeah.
bleak endings and that.
Yeah, my dad showed me that movie. Totally makes sense. It's almost like a story at a time, and even more so the fact that it was written in 2005.
Yeah.
So
And and I think that's why. I think that may be a good reason why it was set in the 70s in the first place, because the nihilism is right for the times as well. It's I mean, even in Dirty Harry, where when he kills fucking Scorpio, it's still a defeat for him though, because the system has fucked him over from trying to get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is that we don't always have to have, happy endings all the time. We look at movies now. Let's face it, there has to be some kind of satisfying conclusion, and I don't like satisfying conclusions. I
Yeah.
like
It's annoying as hell. That's why I
ambiguous
love The
endings.
Mist.
It's the
fucking love
journey.
that
I
film.
like the ambiguous endings. I like endings where we as an audience can make up our own minds of the meaning of the film, or
Well, The Mist isn't even
where
ambiguous.
where
It's just horrible.
or where we have something that's a grim ending, where it's not always going to be the ending that we would like or would
right.
expect.
I love it. I
It's
love it.
I'm
I
just
love it when
I'm
they
just
fuck somebody over.
yeah I'm just really kind of a little bit very, very dismissive of modern films now.
Yeah.
Hence any film that I talk about
And especially the 80s.
on the Nielsen ratings. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. I mean, see, on the Nielsen ratings, I mean, the films that I talk about are generally the 60s and 70s movies. The sort of latter part of the 60s and early to mid 70s, because that's when they were grittier, they were dirtier, they were nastier, and you didn't have any kind of satisfactory Disney style, clappy hands conclusion. Nothing's tied up with frilly bows. Everything's either ambiguous or nasty,
Do you
and
think
that's
a
what I
lot of
like.
that is down to the trend of taking in audience reactions? So
Yeah,
obviously nowadays,
it's
if the
really.
audience doesn't like, they just change it, because if the audience doesn't like it, they give it a different ending, for example. Back then, they
I,
probably
I
didn't do
think
that.
what it's kind of down to is that we have studio executives who think that everybody wants to be happy when they go to see a movie. That art doesn't exist. I mean, this is not just a great movie, it's a work of art. I mean,
Yes.
Agreed.
visually it's a
Yes.
work of art. Literally, literary, it's a work of art.
Yes.
And when studio executives believe that they know more about movies than film directors and writers, that's when we get the kind of fucked up shit that we're always getting,
Oh
the kind of
yes.
shit that we're constantly fed on. And if you leave it to the director and you leave it to the writer, then you will get something that is going to be a phenomenal piece of work. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, not just the director. It's like what the assistant director as well, isn't it? That helps
Yeah, with
the.
the assistant, the assistant, the job of the assistant director is that the assistant director, the main job is they will schedule the movie. So they go through the script and they schedule the movie, and they will tell you exactly what is required for each scene. For example, this scene requires this amount of stunts, this amount of action vehicles, this amount of props, this amount of firearms. So that's the person who really organizes the entire shoot, not the director, not the producer or anybody else. The assistant director, the first assistant director, not the second AD or the third ADs. They tend to deal with crowd. But it's the first AD. If you have a great first AD, and there are some great first ADs, alongside a great cinematographer and a great director, and you have a great script, you're going to end up with something like this. If you have any of those components that are mediocre, just one of those components needs to be mediocre, and you're going to end up with the kind of rubbish that we're constantly fed on.
Oh yes, I'm
and
seeing
that's all it
Borderlands tomorrow.
takes. It just takes one of those components, one of those key components, one of those key crew, including the production manager. Just takes one slight adjustment in their kind of in their talent level, and you'll have something that's garbage. But it mainly boils down to studio executives believing that they know more than the artist who's creating the work.
No,
And they
they're
don't
just
know
the
more.
fucking money men. That's it. They're just the money men.
Yeah.
It's the directors and the writers that are the creative aspect of it. They're the ones that have that vision, you know. And but I love how this fucking film just sort of takes its time as well, and it doesn't try and quick cut everything or quickly edit everything. It just lets the suspense build. Just lets you soak into.
It's almost anti-Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's almost like an art
exactly
film.
that. Yeah, it's exactly that.
The way that the closest equivalent that's could have come to is if in the MCU, if Infinity War was the last movie, no cut scene at the end, no stinger scene, and they just ended it with Thanos winning, and then they were like, nope, that's it, no more MCU right there. That would be
that would have been
equivalent.
fucking ballsy. I mean,
in all honesty, that might have been a blessing considering what we've got since.
Well,
because fucking, I'll even after Endgame, just let's end Phase 3 with Spider-Man when Endgame would have been just a good way to fucking end the Phase 3 if it wasn't for unless they did decide to do Infinity War. But
honestly, even Infinity War wasn't that great. As soon as they started doing timey-wimey shit, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, no, because
that's Endgame. That's
Endgame.
Endgame.
It had a really
Endgame,
reflexive beginning as well with Captain America trying to help people get through it, shit like that. But yeah, the whole time thing was just fucking stupid. I mean, they explain that there's certain rules that this works, and then it kind of goes out the window halfway through. It's like, what the fuck is the point of having these rules, and if you're just going to contradict them later?
The structure just wasn't there for Endgame, in my opinion. Whether or not they rushed it to get it out 1 year after, was it even a year after Infinity War? Or was it like 6 months after?
I always think that if they start playing around with. Sorry, mate. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think they did. I think they might have shot it back to back as well.
I've got a feeling the Russos shot it back to back.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I do think that whenever they start messing around with time, when they start messing around with time and messing around with multiverses, that for me is a big kind of red flag, because then they've run out of ideas.
Yep, exactly. That's it.
Run out of ideas, and this is the only way that we can get round of contradicting the worlds that we've created. You know, so
and then there's no stakes.
Yeah, this is what I said in my video when I talked about Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. That one of the big problems of the multiverse is that you can't actually comprehend the multiverse.
Right.
So you don't understand what's at stake. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy 3 worked. Because even though obviously what was going on in that, was part of the phase 4, you understood these 3 cute little animals. So you understood their fate. And James Gunn was quite clever that when he showed the is it High Evolutionary and the planet he was going to destroy, he took some time to give you that scene with the family and the Guardians in the living room, or whatever you want to call it, to make sure that you understood these people and you put a name to it. When Ant-Man's talking about the bloody quantum universe being destroyed, like, it's so infinitesimally small that I can't understand it. Everybody you've introduced me to it is a complete prick anyway. I don't care. And then when they talk about all the different multiverses being destroyed, like, I can't quantify that in my head. So therefore there's no stakes.
Yeah.
So they need to get back down to sort of a relatable level and kill off the multiverse. It was the worst thing they could have
A
done.
bit more lower budget as well.
I
Do
mean-
something a little bit more grimy and gritty, a little bit, and one that doesn't
Agreed.
pander to the audience. One that actually fucking lets you fucking see the film and doesn't talk down to you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of done with Marvel, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah. It's
I don't
independent
think
films
even with
seem to
Downey
be
Jr.
pretty good at the moment, though. We've had Leroy, Texas, which was really fucking good. It had very good, well, interesting characters. It was very funny. It was very dark as well, and it kind of has a little bit of No Country for Old Men, but it's a little bit funnier, but just as mean spirited and twisted at the same time.
I just wonder if we're going to see another old country.
Would it surprise you if I said that I've never seen a Marvel movie?
Yeah,
You told me you never worked on a Marvel movie.
Yeah,
I've never seen one. Never seen one. Never worked on one. Don't want to see them.
Some of them are very good. I will be honest.
Man is really fucking good. It's really well written, and you do get behind the character as well. I mean, because he starts off as a bit of a cocky prick, but he does.
He's got one of the best character arcs there is.
How he turns.
I mean, you've got that line in the Avengers where Steve Rogers says, "You'd never be the one to lie down on the wire."
Yeah,
you know, and that is exactly what he does at the end. It's really well done, that arc.
When it's good, when it's good, the MCU is really good. But when it's mediocre, it's not mediocre. It's bad. So when it's they just started making way too much money. They started cranking out, consume next product. And they just were like, it's just too much. It's almost like you could make an analogy between that and this movie. Even though Moss sees this money and he knows that it might mean the death of him, might even mean the death of his wife and everything that he holds dear, he goes for it anyway because he can't say no to the money. Even though Marvel execs know that they are ruining what they're doing, they cannot say no to big budget thing. They will not do a low budget. They even tried to with like the New Mutants, and they couldn't commit to it. They could have made that like a low budget horror film, but then they wanted to blow it up and make it smarmy and bombastic. And that's why.
Because that really started off a little bit interesting when I saw it, but
is it worth watching? So I didn't check it out. I didn't bother.
Yeah,
it's worth watching, but it's not worth. I mean, it's worth watching if you're like folding your laundry.
Gotcha.
Or,
okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you got one of your your sluts over and she's going down on you and you're playing Pokemon Go or something.
Now I know where you're coming from.
All right, there you go.
I expect to see that quote on the back of the DVD.
But it won loads of Oscars. This film, like I think it won like 4 Oscars, didn't it? And it's and it was a very rare time where you see a film winning a good few Oscars and it's actually really fucking good. I mean, not just because the fucking snobs like it, but audience members actually do as well.
It won over 70 awards in total.
Yeah, no, it really blew. I think it actually had a big impact on Hollywood in general, but unfortunately, it didn't really affect the trend of what happened. But it did show that films could be intelligent and,
But isn't that like any Coen Brothers movie?
Man's material rather than just trash.
Yeah, that's every Coen Brothers movie, isn't it? I mean, everybody in Hollywood respects them and they love them, and they they know that they're auteurs and this, that, and the other. But nobody will actually try to not necessarily emulate them, but nobody will try the kind of things, take the kind of chances that they take. Nobody.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
as you say, it's art. It's not just a movie. You look at something like Marvel, you look at MCU, you look at 90% of what films come out, you don't really think of them as art in that perspective. Obviously, art is a very subjective ideal of what people think is art. This is, to anybody with brain cell, in my opinion, this is art. We've picked out so much out of the film and so much expression and so much
nuance.
Nuance. Yeah, exactly. That I don't think you can really consider this film any other way.
I mean, you could take any one of those shots, right? You could take, as Luke has, take any one of those shots that you've grabbed there, Luke, right? And you could put those in an art gallery as an exhibition.
Mhm.
That's how good this movie is. These individual shots could be exhibited.
Oh, the cinematography in this is
Oh yeah,
absolutely world class.
yeah, great
Absolutely
wide
world
shots
class.
of the fucking scenery as well. The
Yeah.
outback, it's beautiful as well, and it
Yeah.
just makes it even more. It kind of makes it feel even more seedier as well, you know. And yeah, because
It gives the film a character, because obviously, you know, normally the score does a lot to give a film a character, and in this, I feel like the cinematography does the same thing.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and it feels like a western as well. It does feel like a western, but it's set in the 1970s instead of.
Yeah, so they call it a neo western.
It kind of reminds me of the kind of Zapata westerns, like The Mercenary and what's the other one? Fistful of Dynamite or Duck You Suckers. That kind of Zapata western, which is kind of a post-revolutionary western. To me, that's what it feels like. It's like a Zapata western.
Yeah, because I know. Yeah, because when I think of when I see all the shots where it's just staying on that same frame for a good extended amount of time and being all suspenseful, it does. Yeah, I kind of know.
It's a slow burner. It's a slow burner of a film. It's not like massive action scene after massive action scene, but you're never bored because of the sense of tension in the film.
Never bored. You're right. Absolutely right. It doesn't feel like it's a slowly paced movie either.
And
you
get
through it.
It's so intricate that it's like I'm watching this for if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. But if like I'm watching it with you guys, and you guys, at least Luke, Fan Dad, Critical Out, you guys all at one point brought something up that I had not considered before in a previous watch. You pulled something. It's almost like, to me, the level of like The Prestige, which also came out right around the same time. Every time I watch it, I catch something that I've not caught before, no matter how much I think I've deep dived into it, or something that someone else can go, hey, did you notice ... And I'm like, wow, no, I never caught that before, because
I was actually going to ask Fan Dad on that basis. You said at the start of the film you seen it a couple of times, but you didn't really understand it. Have you got a little bit more out of it after our chat?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I will continue to watch it at least once a year, which is what I've done over the last few years. I've probably seen this film once a year for God knows how long.
Yeah,
but
it's a masterpiece. It really is.
Yeah, going back to one of us was saying things about Hollywood movies now, and you get happy endings, which is exactly what they are. Is endings. You don't think anything about the film once it's finished. That's it. You're done. But with this film and like that sense of ambiguity at the end, it's for me, it's like what the fuck moment. It's like watching Inside Man. You might appreciate this. With like short films. You must have seen or worked on them.
A ton, yeah.
Like 99% of those, the endings of a short film is like fucking what kind of thing? Yeah. This is what this reminds me of, because the Coen Brothers are genuinely sort of independent filmmakers. They've obviously come from that background where you try and telling a story.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely spot on, because this is the absolute definition of audience participation, that when the movie is over, the movie is not over.
You're still going to be thinking.
Yeah, because there's so much to discuss, isn't there? I mean, I think Terry Gilliam mentioned this as once, because he really slammed Steven Spielberg, saying he likes to wrap things up with a pretty bow. It's not like films like Stanley Kubrick when he did 2001: Space Odyssey, where you see the movie and then you're talking to your friend about, okay, what did you think this ending was all about? And then you have this conversation. It's I kind of get that. I
remember doing the same thing with Inception.
Yeah.
Is he still asleep? Is he awake?
It's a rip-off of Paprika.
You were doing that soon, aren't we? Paprika's
yeah, I'm going to do all that. I need to watch that again, because it is a fun movie, and I think it might be a bit better than Inception, especially character-wise.
It's there's shots in Paprika that are pretty much recreated one for one in Inception. I don't know if Nolan's ever commented on it, but it's absolutely an influence.
Yeah,
Like,
and, you know, I
100%.
mean, I've got no objection for any filmmaker to be influenced by another filmmaker. I mean,
Oh, gotcha.
Quentin Tarantino has made an entire career out of it, and he, you know, he's quite openly talks about his influences and the things that he has kind of snatched and snipped and
Mm.
stolen from other filmmakers. But every filmmaker has always done that. They've always done that. Steven Spielberg has
True.
openly said that he has stolen most of his shots in all of his films from Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
a
know,
rule of the industry, isn't it? It's like if you're gonna steal,
yeah,
steal from the best. That's what
Yeah.
we taught.
I mean, even
Let's
exactly.
face it, if
Scorsese
you
is
stand on
Yeah,
the
Scorsese
shoulders of
admitted to,
giants.
even Scorsese has
yeah,
admitted to taking from Hitchcock and Jean-Luc Godard
Yep.
and all that
Yeah.
lot. It's yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah.
style kind of ends up gets passed around onto other younger budding directors who want to make their mark in the film industry as well. It's yeah, it's
That's one of
just
the things that worries me about modern Hollywood is so much of that is being lost in the favor of green screen volume, and it's just all getting very,
Mm,
very samey.
yeah, because
You're
it's
not
very
getting these
lifeless.
intelligent,
It's
clever
very
Well,
lifeless.
shots.
we've said it before. Like the art of cinema is a dying thing now.
Hmm.
I firmly
mm,
believe that. I
yeah,
think that the
yeah,
further we get in time, as time goes on, we're going to get less and less talented people coming
Yeah.
in to write things. We're
Mm.
going to get less and less possibly talented people to direct stuff, because you've seen a lot of, well, you know yourselves, we've seen a lot of like activists and DEI hires and all the rest of it, rather than putting the interests into sort of the story and etc. It's just, yeah, it's become a
But
nonsense.
part
I
of
think
that's actually
some
due
studios
to.
are I think some studios are
Sorry,
kicking
mate.
that lot out now, aren't they? Because I think Critical Drinker did a video on it as well. Like Hollywood is abandoning the message, but who knows? Because like you
Yeah.
said about this before, Inside Man, it's kind of a scam as well, where they're still getting paid
Yeah,
for pittance, and it's the engagement that gets
yeah,
them that
yeah.
helps them
That's right. It's.
gain.
I mean, the more people slate and criticize the Disney stuff. They look. Oscar Wilde said, "There's only one worse thing than being talked about, and that is not being talked about."
Yeah.
And as long as Disney are being talked about, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They
It's
don't
the
give
old
a shit. They
adage of
don't care.
there is no bad, no thing is bad publicity.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the Acolyte was the biggest piece of shit going. It's not hit any of the Nielsen ratings, but everybody was talking about it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, and of course, you know, going back to what Fandad was saying, you know, it's really the art is being lost, and part of that is, unfortunately, you know, due to one of the key tools in filmmaking today, and that is digital filmmaking has
Yep.
created the democratization of movie making, and whereby everybody with a digital camera believes that they're a film director, and they're fucking well not. They're
Yeah,
not a
exactly.
film director.
Yeah.
You can direct a film if you like. You can pretend to be a director. You can play at being a director, but you are not a director. And there are so many not directors out there. There are
The
so many
trouble is, though,
not producers. It's the biggest catwalk for emperors that there is at the moment, and it isn't just Hollywood. It's here in the UK. It's in France. It's in Germany. It's in South America. It's in China. Everywhere has exactly the same problem that Hollywood has. It's not. It really isn't just confined
It's
to
what happened when
Hollywood.
we started giving out participation awards. Basically, it's
Yeah.
like you don't have to
Yeah.
strive, you don't have to be the best. We have to respect you anyway. It's like,
Exactly that. Yeah,
no,
it's like at the school sports day, you know, you're giving everybody a rosette, you know, for
yeah,
taking part.
it's it,
Come
but it's
on,
the
you
people
know.
that are giving the rosettes out. The trouble is that all these people who believe that they can be directors, there are people behind them that are supporting those thoughts.
Yeah,
The likes of people on TikTok and YouTube and other platforms that are
yeah,
coming out with these ridiculous sorts of what they call entertainment now. Where people
well,
are
this is the problem, isn't
people
it?
are buying into it.
And
People are buying into that.
it's influencing all the kids. Like you ask kids most kids what they want to be these days, and they're like, "I want to stream playing
Be an
video
influencer.
games or
I
be
want
a
to be an
TikToker."
influencer.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
we're fucked. We're absolutely fucked.
That's just going to add into the problem that we have with cinema. If
Yeah.
people are there's going to be like a paradigm shift towards that sort of entertainment and the 12 seconds.
I think so. Yeah. I've foreseen that the only future for cinemas is going to be showing old films, not new ones.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're doing it
Yeah.
now, aren't they? They're just re-releasing a load of old
Yeah.
movies because they're
Yeah,
making.
I'm seeing Spider-Man 2 Sunday.
Woo!
It's gonna be fucking awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, I went and saw Point Break at the cinemas re-release last night.
Oh wow,
Nice.
nice.
Oh, that must have been
Good
so
movie.
cool
Good
seeing,
Wow.
seeing all those action scenes on the big screen as well. The
Yeah.
fact that they're actually fucking jumping out of a plane as well. No
Yeah.
green screen. They're really
Yeah.
doing that.
So obviously, I'm gonna my theory on this, the downward spiral, and there's really no getting around this. And obviously, my perspective, I think that people lack real world experience. They've not lived any
Yeah.
real lives.
Yep.
And to caveat on what Luke said, the drinker made a video about that. It's like these guys have not done anything with their lives. They've lived in these little echo chambers, and this is what they write about. Take Cormac McCarthy, for example. He's a kid born and raised in Rhode Island. And then his dad bought a farm. He moves down to Texas and New Mexico area and grows up there. He joins the Air Force. He's ex-military. He learns to read and write through that way because he'd not done very well in school. People have these backgrounds, and they
Yeah.
have something to write about. Now, you don't have to write
Yeah.
just about that, but the way that you live your life informs on
Yeah.
what it is that you're able to
Ex-
create. Now, you might get a person.
Precisely.
Go ahead. Okay.
So further to that, then
Yeah,
people
it's precisely that.
you've got the five that came back: Frank Capra, John Ford, John Huston, William Wyler, and George Stevens fought in a fucking war.
Yeah.
So they've got that to bring to the table. What have
Yeah.
we got now? People who threw some milk on the floor in a supermarket.
I was going to say, yeah.
Or
when you're dealing with people,
But there's this thing. There's this. So I was going to say there's this ongoing thing in writing classes, right? In film schools and colleges and universities up and down the land, and I'm sure that it's exactly the same in the United States, where you have the teachers saying, "Write what you know," right? And when they say "write what you know," they're now telling people to write about the subjects that they know about, that they may know a little about.
yes,
What it really means is write about the emotions that you know. That's what write what you know is. It's never, oh, I know something about the late Roman Republic, so I'm going to write about that. Or I know something about the last couple of years of the Second World War, and the 101st Airborne Division, or I know something about fly fishing or whatever.
knowing
And
it isn't
people
living
write
it. That's
about
the thing,
that.
isn't it?
That's right, and it's fucking drives me wild. That
Yeah.
people, when I keep hearing this, write what you know, and people think that it's about writing about their personal experiences all the time, but it's not. It's about writing about the emotions. You can only write, you can only convey those emotions if you've genuinely experienced those emotions. If you know about,
If Tolkien doesn't go to war, he cannot write Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
he
'cause
didn't
borrowed
write.
his
He
music.
didn't write World
I
War
know.
II drama set pieces. He wrote.
Nope.
He transferred it into that sort of into the what is that genre? The not supernatural, but
Kind of
Fantasy.
sword and sorcery.
yeah.
Yeah.
He transferred it into that and
Mhm.
took these horrible events and his fellowship that he had. If you've seen the movie
Exactly.
made about
He
his
took the
life,
themes,
yeah,
not the actual, not the
Yes.
actual event itself.
yes,
And a
yes.
clever writer can do that, and we don't have many clever writers now, and that's what's
We sure
that's what
don't.
sucks.
There's very few of me for sure. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, this film is a good example of the exact opposite because
As I say,
Like,
it's
because it
anti-Hollywood.
gets a lot of conventions. Like, there's no free act structure. There's no actual real hero. It's just a guy having to come to terms with the fact that he's not the hero that he was hoping he could be. It's so it's a very downbeat movie, but it feels very real. And even though the Coen Brothers have never had that experience of being pursued by a fucking hitman or having to take it on, they used they borrowed it from a full. McCormick did anyway because
If you were to lay this out, right? If you were to lay this out in very, very basic terms, guy finds money, wants to run away with it. Guy pursues him, and there's a coward sheriff that's trying to intervene. That in itself would sound pretty fucking dull, right? But it's all of the minutiae that's been injected into that story, not just as a film, but certainly into the book as well. All those tiny little things that are in there that doesn't pad it out. It tells a real story, a real world story.
And that's what makes characters like these days. A lot of writers think, oh, I want to make a character, I'm going to give them a tragic backstory. Like in the new Star Trek, everyone's got a fucking tragic backstory. That's not how you write a character. You write a character by putting in these tiny little relatable things, little ticks, little habits they have, and things like that. And that's how you build a character. You can't just go, oh, this character's sad because their mum got killed in a car crash, and that's why but that's what people do these days. And it's just, that's why you've got shit, unrelatable films.
Yeah. But it works so well here though, because it is basically.
But then, as I say, in this film, you've got nuance. You've got, Anton Chigurh, for somebody that is fairly impenetrable. We've already, throughout watching this film, dissected various elements of his character, that he believes in fate, that he believes in honor. That he's got these. He respects certain people. He doesn't respect other people. Why that happens?
He's obsessed with challenging himself. That thing in the beginning. Where the book is better is that he got into a bar fight and he killed a guy. He got arrested. He allowed himself to be arrested. He knew how to slip handcuffs. Shit, I know how to slip handcuffs. But he didn't want to slip them. He wanted to see if he could extricate, in the words quoting directly from the book, he wanted to extricate himself from the situation without any weapons, without any material, without any of his tricks, just through the force of his own will. Just as a way to test himself, to keep himself sharp. So
it's a shame some of that internal monologue and subtext is what you lose in a film, because you sacrifice it for the visual medium.
He's just arrested and you're not exactly sure why.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but that doesn't stop it from being the film it is at the end of the day.
I would say, and I don't know what you guys' thoughts is. I would say this is the most faithful adaptation of a novel that I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
I've not read it, but that's what I've read. Yeah, people have said it's probably the closest, with just a couple of very minor little changes.
I found out something about lilies, if you want to discuss that, because I think it's looking like it was quite a clever idea. If that's what
they're associated with death.
No, it's purity, innocence, love, and rebirth. Renewal and transience. It's also the national flower of Italy, featured on the country's emblem. It symbolizes unity and peace. So it wasn't Wells trying to sort of garner some peace with Llewellyn by giving him a deal, asking where the money was.
I've got to be honest with you, because over here they're more associated with funerals, aren't they?
Funerals,
lilies. There's always lily wreaths. So
I think it could be both.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's an American film at the end of the day, not a British one.
Yeah, well, he is trying to offer peace to him, but at the same time, his death is inevitable as well.
Well, there is that thing, isn't it, of peace lilies? So
Maybe, hell, he could have just the prop team could have just said, here's some. The book says you're supposed to be sitting there with flowers. Here's some flowers.
Yeah. As I say, with this film, I don't get. With a lot of films, I get that feeling. With a lot of films, I get the feeling that they just whatever happened, don't care, whatever. Just But there's certain films you watch and you know that everything's deliberate. Long Legs was one. Long Legs is a very deliberate film where everything in that frame,
don't think anything was
because they want it there.
It's all to do with the mise en scène. Everything in the frame is there for a purpose.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, there is nothing in. I don't think. I think you really you've really hit the nail on the head. That I don't think there's a single frame in this movie that hasn't been deliberately thought out. That hasn't been meticulously thought through.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just the way these creators work, and that's the difference between them and a hack.
I think the Coen Brothers are too clever to not know what they're
exactly
doing.
that.
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
in
say
their nature.
99% I agree. I mean, I'm just coming from the gun nut, thing. There's a couple anachronistic things. There's 2 weapons that they use in the movie that they didn't exist then. So that was a little bit of a.
How did they get around that in the book? What does he use in the book if he doesn't use a silent shotgun?
He's got no, it does say he has got that, and then but I'm talking about in the first scene, Moss picks up a MP5K from a guy that didn't exist in 1980, and then later Anton Chigurh has a Glock. Glocks didn't exist in 1980. Both of those weapons came out in like 87, 88.
Absolutely shocking. The Coens should hand in their honorary American card.
Yeah, they're. You know what? Fuck this movie.
Give back
seriously.
the Oscars. Yeah, give back the Oscars. Yeah.
But I definitely agree. I think that even though in the book it just says Wells sat there with flowers, looking placidly, waiting for Moss to wake up. It doesn't say. But I think you guys are probably a lot closer to the truth than me. Whereas I think they definitely had something in mind. I'll research it further and see what I can figure out when I do my video later.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the Coens, just even just from their perspective, like, okay, we want this in there, because it symbolizes this. It reminds me of that scene in of all films, Gremlins 2, where the guy comes up and looks at the artwork and he looks at the elms and he goes, people see elms, they think disease, get those out of there. Because the artist is doing it, and his boss is like, "I'll put some elms in there." He's like, "No, I don't want to put any elms in there because people think disease." And, some people wouldn't think of that, and other people would make that association, and that's the difference between a creative and somebody who just goes by the script.
Okay.
Yeah. But then this could be the.
But you never thought Gremlins 2 was that deep, eh?
Now I do now.
I think we might come to the ending a little bit now, but I will ask last thoughts, and then I'll ask if you've got any upcoming videos coming soon. So, yeah, my final thoughts: it's very dark, it's intricate, it's gritty, and it's very fascinating and interesting with some great characters. And it definitely stays with you for a long time, especially after the end. But so, final thoughts, Fandad Menace.
I thought this film was a big bag of shite. I hated every hated every single minute of it.
Fair enough. Next.
10 out of 1. No, it's great. I will definitely watch it again, probably sooner than later. But yeah, absolute work of art.
Yeah, it's almost perfect. The perfect nihilistic movie. So, Critical, final thoughts.
I mean, it's Coen Brothers, isn't it? You're not going to get orthodox. You're going to get thought out. You're going to get intelligent. You're going to get something that you can chew over long after you've seen the film, as you say. Javier Bardem puts in one of the most unbelievable performances that I think I've seen. It's just like he just becomes that character. It's just absolutely unreal. And I think it's just, I think it's art. I think it's anti-Hollywood. It eschews the 3-act format. It eschews character conventions. It deals with themes of fate, death, choosing your destiny. And it's all boiled into what's a fairly simple plot, let's be honest. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant film. It's a film school kind of film that you would study in film school. Not like I've ever been to film school, but,
Yeah, I can definitely buy that, especially the way it's shot as well. And because it's like the
cinematographer, man.
Yeah,
Deacons, unbelievable.
Yeah, so Toxic, final thoughts.
Oh, you're gonna put Inside Man after me again. You know he hates that because I'm so loquacious.
That's his fault dropping out and coming back again.
I'm just going up.
But no, it's one of my favorite films. It stays in my top 10, maybe even my top 5. I have a really close association with it. Like I said, it got me my final A in order to get my degree. Talking about the book, I was so excited. It really showed my age too, because I was using my GI Bill and sitting in class, and they said we're gonna talk about Cormac McCarthy, and I was like, woohoo, Cormac McCarthy, and all these 20-year-olds are looking at me like, what are you talking about, you boomer? So, but yeah, It's great. I stand by the fact that I'm glad I saw the movie first, because had I read, excuse me, hang on, let me shut that up. God damn it. Sorry. Phone call. I should have silenced my phone. Had I read the book first, I would have said this is unfilmable, and I don't see any other way. I'm glad this is one of the few times I'm glad I saw the film before the book. I put them on equal footing, and like I said, I'm going to make a video about it later, and I'm going to take so many notes from what you guys have pointed out. But I just love it. It's 10 out of 10 without a doubt. So it's amazing, both the book and the film.
Yeah, Inside Man.
Well, I always find it difficult going last, especially after Toxic, because on the last stream, he was talking about Band of Brothers, and he kind of brought a lump to my throat what he said. So, and I've actually found it quite emotional listening to his view on that. So, but my view on this, one of the best films of the 2000s, without any shadow of a doubt. With one of the greatest movie villains and literary villains ever created. Just wonderful. I mean, it's an absolute masterclass in filmmaking. It looks beautiful. It's brilliantly told. It's brilliantly acted. The casting couldn't have been better. But then I love Tommy Lee Jones in everything that he does. I think he's a fantastic, wonderful, wonderful actor. But again, it's echoing what everybody else has said. It's a film that when the movie finishes, it's still there. It doesn't go away. It's a movie that just won't go away. The story doesn't leave you when you turn the movie off. When it's finished, it's still there. And it's one of the reasons that I like to go back to this movie at least once a year, at the very least once a year. Because I do get little bits and pieces out of it each time. And do you know what? I never noticed the heel drags of the cops. I never noticed those heel scuffs. So I'm going to be looking out for that now. Nice. I mean, again, it's little things that other people observe that you don't. And little things that other people get from this that you may not necessarily have got out of it on the views that you've previously had. And now looking at it, it's great to talk about it with other people who have spotted different things, who have grabbed different pieces of the story and found a meaning to it that I may not necessarily have found. So it's been great watching this again, and it's been wonderful talking about it with you guys.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's as perfect a
really
film as you could possibly get. And it really is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. This is why I can never do a video review on this, because when I do a review, I have to look for flaws, and I will barely be able to find any flaws to talk about, because it's like you said, it's almost near perfect as well. It's and it is memorable as well. That everything is memorable about it, though. Just the characters, and especially Anton Chigurh, because he's so fucking mysterious. You don't know why he is the way he is, but or what made him who he is, but you don't care because he's so fascinating. Yeah, so now we've done our final thoughts. I will ask what you got upcoming, Fandad Menace. Is there anything upcoming at the moment for you?
I've got a live stream next Friday with a bunch of degenerates.
Is it? Oh, I feel bad for you. Oh, wait. That's us. That's us. What are you about?
Yeah.
What? Plot twist.
Yeah. Ambiguous.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, so that'll be is it a Touch of Evil? Let's have a look again. Let's have a look. Touch of Evil next week with.
I've not seen it. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
Prefer Twins of Evil, like the Hammer
I've
Horror.
never even heard of it.
Yeah, Critical. What you got upcoming?
Tomorrow, I am for all my sins watching Borderlands. So I'll be ripping that to shit.
I feel bad.
In a review. I am morbidly, because the thing is, this is a really cool thing. Like, I had fairly low expectations from seeing the trailer. I was like, this is going to be shit. Cast looks shit. It's going to be fairly generic and awful. But everybody's been so bad on it that I have now such low expectations, spectacularly low expectations. I am morbidly curious to see if it will meet up to those low expectations or not. So from that perspective, I'm still going to get something out of it. But yeah, I'll see that. I'll review that. Other than that, I am still working on better stuff, like my video on Star Trek Continues, which is fucking awesome.
Nice one.
And yeah, then I'm back with all you degenerates next Friday.
Well, Toxic, your upcoming one, you're supposed to be doing a very similar video on this as well called Consider the Source, am I correct?
Yeah. So I have one of the things I do is Consider the Source, where I talk about a film, movie, a TV show, whatever, and I talk about what it was adapted from, so whatever source material. In this case, the book, and then turned into a film. I am doing it on this. I had started it last night and was going to knock it out so that you could like attach it to this in some kind of way. But then I was like, you know what? This is a chance to hear a bunch of learned gentlemen speaking about it. So let me see if I can steal
When are you streaming with those learned gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah?
And I could take some of their ideas, pass them off as my own, and put them in my review. And also I wanted to rewatch it and get some ideas and try to come to terms with myself about, do I like the film or the book better? Because that's really what that show is about. And it's usually pretty short, and I try to give as honest an opinion as I can with that. And a lot of times I find that the film or the TV series tends to be better. So yeah, I have that. I'll be finishing that up tonight, actually. Dudicus and I just finished season 3, episode 1 and 2 of Highlander, the TV series. We did. I'm so excited to be in season 3. It's my favorite season of the show, of one of my favorite shows of all time. Then I see we've not done Losers Lounge, but I think that's going to get taken over by either Enzo or Northern English Bastard. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but of course Sunday I'll be on Dorkside or Monday, whichever one he decides to do. But the Highlander thing is every Thursday night, and we did do a supplementary. We did the Highlander anime movie on Tuesday. To kind of bridge the gap between season 2 and season. And I'd never seen it. Dudicus really liked it, and he wanted to show it to me and show it off to me. So we did that as well as a supplementary episode. And I think we're going to do that in between each season. So like after season 3, we might revisit Highlander Endgame or one of those other terrible shit movies and just put it in there and kind of do that. So yeah, that's what I got. And then of course this will be out later tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. And Luke, I'm so sorry, buddy. Yesterday, Northern English Bastard and I did a recap of Mayor of Kingstown. Man, I'm so sorry. That should have been the first thing I said on your show. But yeah, he was kind enough to join me as we did a recap retrospective on Mayor of Kingstown seasons 1 through 3, because they just dropped the season finale this week, and we recapped that. That's out now. I have that out.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good one, that. So yeah, I'll put the link to your Consider the Source in this in the description after you've released it as well. So
and I'll give all you guys a shout out, since you all gave me great ideas. I'll put all your because y'all have channels, right? Does everybody have a channel?
Yeah,
sort of.
Kind
I've got
of.
3 fucking channels.
Okay, well I'll figure it. Luke will help me with the at everybody, and I'll put that in the description, links to whatever it is that you've got, and that'll be in my Consider the Source.
Be sure to check it out. Your book insights have been very, very interesting. I need to track that book down and read it, I think.
Oh, great. Yeah, I highly encourage that. I always think the book is, even if the book is shit, so like The Prestige, the movie's great and the book is awful, god awful, but it was still worth reading so that I know that. So
it's really interesting to see the creative decisions that have been made, and especially with The Prestige. I agreed with every single one of them.
yeah
I thought Nolan did a much better job.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
Yeah, we'll talk about this more after, because I've got to get off soon as well. So
Inside
Man, is there anything you want to promote before we end?
Got the Spartacus stream on Sunday. That's episodes 5 and 6. and I've got a couple of other things bubbling under at the moment, but I just need confirmation for them. But and then on Tuesday, I'm with you on Lance's channel, and I've got 3 very unusual, very unusual films to talk about. And one of the films that I've got to talk about, that I'm going to be talking about, has got loads of tits in it. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I'm in.
Sold.
It's like that Rick and Morty thing. Son of a
Yeah,
bitch. I'm in.
Take my money.
Yeah, so I'll try and check that out on Sunday if I can anyway. But at the moment, I'm getting a bit rushed here at the moment by the dog who wants to fucking go out. So yeah,
Oh, that
I better hang out anyway. So yeah, so I'll thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Nix, Atom, everyone, Jammer, Mr. E,
Rare.
yeah, you've all been fucking great. You really have, Ray. Thanks for joining me again, and
Davo.
Dave. Oh yes, I'm trying to scroll through all the names here. See if I
Tony
can...
K.
Yeah, Tony K as well.
That's
Always,
it, yeah.
always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. It really is. And Smilex, thanks for joining me as well. Thank you, Smilex. Was Barbara Lawrence in there? Don't know. She usually is,
I
but
don't
if
think
she
she did turn
isn't,
up today, actually.
Who's
I
that?
don't think.
Lord Toxic? Who's that? Is that somebody?
Some asshole. I
Who's-
don't know.
yeah. So yeah. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and thank you, Toxic, as well, and Fandad Menace and Critical and Inside Man. Always a fucking pleasure to have you on, and whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching. But right now, that is me done. And please, if you haven't already, please share the other Fan Gentlemen's channels, and hope you can get more subscriptions for them, more likes on their channels, more comments to help the algorithm. And right now, that's me done, and I am off to...
Really is.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Gee.
I think the dog's got him.
The dogs.
Has
the
out
doggo
the fucking door.
He
As
fell
the
asleep.
doggo got him, he forgot to hit stop.
Press the big red button on the left.
You're
Big
still
red button.
Yes. Sorry, yeah, I'm into the stream now. The fucking signal's going right off. For some reason. Here we go.